morning, everyone. Sharing one. Yes, so before we proceed, other may join or join in sometime. As I told you, that LODR may we need some subjects. I have just highlighted which are the segments you can see. I'll share the screen. Just see, these are the LODR provisions that we should do. Beside all these LODR, में जितने भी पढ़े, these are the most common topics which we should. And good morning, everyone. As you can see, this regarding video and all, please excuse me from asking this query. Okay, somebody is saying here ICDR they couldn't understand. Good worry, ICDR we will again. So we may just round up session for the ICDR of the. Good to know that you have revised the entire CP stuff. So as I told you on the LODR, see these are the provisions which you should focus on. You can see on the screen that 17 relates with the board, 18 relating with the audit committee, 19 is the NRC, 21 is the risk management committee. I told you the risk management committee is only on top 500 company. Then 23 related by transaction, because related by transaction is again an important area. Related by transaction, material related by transaction, etc. And then 33 relating to the results. Because listed company needs to submit quarterly results within 45 days and yearly results for March quarter within 60 days. So these provisions we should focus more on the LODR. And today, before we get into the SaaS of insider trading, those who are clear होना चाहिए voice. Is it clear now? Okay, thank you. So now, beside this LODR, before we jump into the insider trading fast, as I told you, I will take you first straight to the definition, some small part, like your mutual fund, and the another is CIS. You must have studied ना हमारे आर्ट में बार-बार लिखा है CIS page number and take you to the 278 if I guess. Yes, 278 96. Just come to the 296. I will say first collective investment scheme. Collective investment scheme. Today, I'll just before we jump into the major topic, let's understand exactly the CIS or the mutual fund is. People get confused. CIS and mutual fund are more or less same. First of all, I will tell you, yes, more or less same. They are in US, even some of the US trust scheme, in relation to the United Trust, etc., they are considered as a CIS rather than as a mutual fund. Whereas in India, that are considered as a mutual fund. In CIS, we need to study particularly this sheet on your screen, the collective investment scheme. What exactly it is? The collective investment scheme is in short, like say for example, it is a pool of fund, where the funds are being pulled in by the group of individuals or group of institutions. Once these pool funds are pooled, then this pool of fund is being managed by a manager, who is known as a manager to the CIS. Now, what you will say in collective investment scheme, you will say this is a collective investment scheme. You are saying pooling. Similarly, we heard in mutual fund also there is a pooling. So if there is a pooling, then how comes you will differentiate the where it is CIS or whether exactly it is mutual fund? The difference comes. CIS will invest in a particular asset, identified particular assets as identify the manager or as identify the manager to the CIS. Once they invest the fund in that property, now they derive their profit from that property only. And that is what the main purpose of a CIS. Whereas in mutual fund, I will take a money, I will invest in a diversified portfolio. Say, for example, some amount I will invest in equity, some amount I will invest in debt, some amount I may invest in the hybrid document, and I will pull it out from all those securities. That is called a mutual fund. And see, this is the difference only between the mutual fund and the CIS. Now, second difference, CIS being managed by a company, and therefore these companies are called SL&CM, Collective Investment Management Company. I'm sure कि आप लोग ये सब you are people are writing it because see we with this short 5 minutes or 10 minutes this lecture we will cover both CIS as well as mutual fund. We are discussing on the CIS and mutual fund. So as I told you, that CIS is managed by CIMC, the Collective Investment Management, whereas mutual fund is managed by, you have heard, the AMC, the Asset Management Company. We generally say, what is AMC, what is AMC? You must have come across this name also, the AMC. This is called Asset Management Company. This is CIL Management Company, Collective Investment Management Company. What is the role? Here you need to study in this chapter the role of CIMC. What is the role of CIMC? The role of CIMC includes it undertakes the activity, it undertakes activity of the managing CIS, Collective Investment Scheme. It also acts as a trustee of CIS because see, when you pulled in fund, next how come I will be sure my money is protected? So you need trustee for that. So it acts as a trustee for that. Similarly, in the AMC Asset Management Company also, the AMC act as a trustee for the fund generated for the mutual fund. Trustee, AMC, custodian. I'll come to this. What you are asking now, just giving the idea of CMC or CIMC, AMC or CIMC. Next question comes: can this trustee be removed? Can CIMC replace another CIMC? Yes, and there are certain functions of CIMC like being a collective investment management company. You need to come up with a periodical report. You will give the periodical report whether the funds are being managed in a proper way. They will also have a board meeting. Just note down that CIMC needs to have a board meeting twice in every 3 months. So far, we have studied the once in every quarter, but CIMC meets twice in every 3 months for managing the activity. That how come the profit will be driven, whether the CIS is properly invested or not, whether there will be proper return or not. So these are the functions of the CIMC. Now, for the purpose of their obligations and how they will replace, you just come to your study mat and I will take you straight forward to the page number trustee and obligation. It is a scheme constituted in the form of executed by CIMC. Because otherwise, if there is no trustee, then whether it's a mutual fund or a CIS, investment scheme, there will be no security of your fund. Who can be appointed as a trustee? There are certain guidelines by the SEBI. SEBI says under the debenture trustee regulation, one can be appointed as a debenture trustee if the person is of not unsound mind, if the person is not yet not related to the company, if the person is undischarged, means sorry, discharged, solvent, etc. The person is not found of guilty. The person is not involved involved in moral turpitude, then he can be appointed as a debenture trustee. Similar criteria will applicable for the appointment of a trustee under the CIS, this collective investment scheme. What the trustee will do, just think of, see, I will say always this kind of a question, even in coming exam, then you should from common point of sense should apply. That we all know when we answer these that what is the function of trust? Trustee obviously he will take care of infrastructure. He will appoint all key managerial person to the company because he needs to take care of the company. He will appoint auditor also. He will appoint a compliance officer. He will appoint registrar to the issue. He will prepare a compliance manual from time to time. So these are the rules. He will undertake the activity of managing a scheme, means how the scheme will be managed, etc. He will take care of the network on a continuous basis of company scheme. So these are the basic rules of trustee. This question may come, so be careful that when there is a question that what is the role of a trustee, you should write it. Next question, as I was saying, you can CIM, CIMC replace another CIMC? Yes. C. Termination of agreement with CIMC. Whose agreement? The agreement of the trust. If the CIMC is in the course of Munda, then obviously there will be no. Because see, when I am a collective investment trust, I will enter into an agreement with CIMC. Because from very beginning I told you that it is CIMC who manage the fund. Like in the mutual fund, it is the ALC asset management company that manages the fund. So when the CIMC under the course of Munda, then there is no question. The agreement has to an end. Or in case, say for example, 3/4 of the holders decide to terminate, then it has to. That is what I was saying. There is a chance that CIMC can be replaced with another CIMC. And sometimes, if in the interest of unit holders, SEBI decides to terminate this CIMC agreement, what will happen ultimately once the agreement is terminated? There will be a new CIMC, the new appointment of CIMC, because CIS, the collective investment scheme, cannot run without CIMC. The CIMC needs to be understood. Question may be the other way. You are just saying the termination of agreement. In examination, question may be in such a way that whether you are getting sound, I couldn't get you. In CIMC, just a sec, let me check. Am I audible now? Here? We are discussing the chapter mutual fund and a collective investment scheme, CIS. So that is what I'm saying. In your study map, you can see the termination of agreement is given. That how the agreement will be terminated with CIMC, Collective Investment Management Company. But the question can be framed the other way. Say, for example, it may say, can CIMC be replaced with new CIMC? Then your answer should be yes. This is the answer which you are seeing right now on your screen. The termination of agreement of trusteeship with the CIMC. So this is the picture of collective investment scheme company. And at the very beginning, those who have joined just now, for them to understand the collective investment scheme is a pool of fund where the investment is being made in a particular identified assets. Whereas in mutual fund, the investment as a pool of fund may be into the different. I will just share the PDF version. I think PDF version is now coming on the screen because somebody said PDF version is not coming. It's coming, PDF version. It's not coming. Okay. Let me check. Just a sec. When I ask if even one people can answer, it will be good enough because you are replying with a chat so many. Okay, thank you. So this is what I was saying, that agreement with the termination of agreement with the CIS, collective investment management company. So you need to ensure that this is what the collective investment management company role is. The roles comes into end when there is a termination. Now coming to the, I will straight away will these are the disclosure, etc. I will take you to the mutual fund. Like the next chapter is, I think next or prior to this is the mutual fund. Page number somewhere 278, and if you do not find on 278, don't worry. It will be somewhere in your mat only, the chapter called mutual fund. Now, what is the role of mutual fund? How the mutual fund is working? Sir, what is the difference between mutual fund and CIS? The difference between mutual fund and CIS I've already mentioned. So I will not go into that. I will just show you that how the picture of mutual fund is working. Mutual fund is a fund, again, which is a pool fund. When there is a sponsor, say for example, one who will contribute maximum towards the mutual fund. Then there is a trust who will manage the trustee. Means we will have a trustee who will ultimately manage. Then finally, it is also controlled by a company called asset management company. Like Abhi tak so far we have studied in the CIS collective investment scheme. The company called CIMC, collective investment management company, takes a call, like say for example, managing the funds, meeting regularly, and decide that what is return, ensuring that maximum return is there. Similarly, asset management company also have a meeting to give asset management company to give the best return on the mutual fund. Then there is again like a custodian who holds the unit and the registered share transfer. Now, how the mutual fund benefits? If you here in the normal market, people will say invest in mutual market, invest in the mutual market, etc. Why? Because say for example, I have 100 crore rupees, but I do not know whether which is the best security to invest or not. I don't know the market perception. So what I'll do, I will invest in mutual fund. They are just like a guide to me. What they will do, they will take my fund and will invest in such a way that the maximum benefit is generated because they invest in a diversified portfolio. First thing is that it is a diversified portfolio, mutual funds. They will invest some of the funds in the equity, some of the funds in the debts, and maybe someone in the big company, some maybe in the risky profile. So all this will mix up, and my portfolio will be the composite. In short, I always say, if you are having one business, then there is a risk. Say, for example, I am this particular business. So we may have a risk whether there will be return to. But if I am doing tens of business, hotel business, this restaurant business, then medicine business, then say steel plant business. So I will have my risk mitigated because even if one sector is affected, like hotel tourism is affected, any other business will continue. So this is what the benefit of a mutual fund is. That it is a diversified investment. How just you will get it clarity from a particular example. See, say for example, IDBI mutual fund, we all then how the picture comes in and who all are there acting as a sponsor, trustee, etc. This will be clear from this slide only. You just see on the screen that mutual fund trust. Say for example, IDBI mutual fund is there. Who will be the sponsor? The sponsor will be the IDBI Bank Limited. Now trustee will be, yes, obviously they will name it with their only IDBI mutual fund trustee. Similarly, there will be asset management company. So these are like, you can say, the structure of a mutual fund is. Registrar, obviously, they have given the example of your, say, RV computer, and then there is a custodian who gives the security with themselves. So this is what the mutual fund is. How the mutual fund, one of the most common example of the mutual fund is the UTI. We all know UTI has taken a shape in the 1960, the Unit Trust of India. This is what the UTI is, one of the big mutual funds. Beside this, you will find number of banks coming out with a mutual fund. SBI, your Can Bank, you can find Kotak also coming out with a mutual fund. So these are the mutual coming out with a mutual fund actually in the day-to-day market. The sector of this mutual fund started late in 1993, and under the private sector, Franklin Templeton, if you have heard this name, they are the fund who are come out with the private. Now I will take you to the types of mutual fund. In mutual fund, we always said there are two types of mutual fund scheme. One is open-ended, one is a closed-ended. What is the difference? The open-ended is like, it's a float. You can say floating kind of a fund where you can invest any day and you can make a payment any day. Now in this open-ended scheme, what happens is that you will have a liquidity. Say if I have to sell my share today and I need to generate cash, I can do it through open-ended. But if I am having close-ended, then I will not be able to generate the money. Because the reason being, close-ended close-ended scheme can be redeemed at the time of maturity. So unless these are matured, no liquidity will be generated. There will be no liquidity. As the name suggests, you will understand. Open-ended means it's open whenever you can trade. Closed-ended means closed. You cannot. Similarly, mutual fund plans are there. See, again, there is a difference. Many times people get confused. Under these, they say open-end and close-end is also a plan. No. Open-ended, close-ended are the types of mutual fund. I'll tell you that how it is working. And direct plan is that I'm back. Sorry, I think line got disconnected. No, line got disconnected. Don't worry. It's appearing on the screen. Just see. Can you see it? Okay, thank you. Sometimes Vanya and other people. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes you people confuse me so much that I feel like if in exam, even if you get 1 hour minutes disturbed, then it'll feel like my 3 hours is lost. Jokes apart, let's coming back to the topic. Like as I was telling you, direct plan is directly sold by the AMC. Means no distributor. See, sometimes what happens, in short, my example is that sometimes you must have seen some of the mobiles are being sold through Flipkart or Amazon as a tie-up for the first sale. So these are regular, and sometimes these phones are directly sold from the store only. So these are the direct plan. In direct plan, there is no commission involved because I will not give the commission to the distributor. I am directly selling it. Here, the return will also be higher because no expenses is involved. However, in regular plans, return will be the low because of the expenses through distributorship, etc. So direct plan is like I'm straight away coming on with the plan. And regular plan is that one you see in the market, you advisor, he will say कि tens of mutual funds are there. आप इसमें से किसी में भी investment. So two type of plan, two types of scheme. That is what the mutual fund. Now, basis the structure of mutual fund, the categories you see there are different categories. Equity, it can be in the form of equity, it can be hybrid, it can be debt, it can be commodity. So, like this is a short picture rather. A mutual fund can be more complex and can be in multiple form because it is the main function of mutual fund is having diversified portfolio. As I told you at the beginning. Now, on the basis of their investment objective, they are also nomenclatured in some terms. Just like we have studied open-ended, close-ended. Just for our understanding, open-ended means any day you can sell and make money. Close-ended means you cannot sell right now and you can't make money every time. However, on the basis of objective, what is your intention, they are also defined. The scheme. Say some of the scheme will be income-oriented scheme. Income-oriented means you will investing and there will be fixed income. Say I give you 10 rupees today and you will say, okay, sir, every month I'll give you rupee one. So I'm happy. It's an income oriented, fixed income. Oriented, where they say, beside this, your income of rupee one, maybe I will give you in the first month rupee one. Next month, I may give you rupee one and a half. Maybe after 3 months, I can give you the rupee two. So there will be growth. Like accumulated growth will be there. And my fund will increase. Hybrid scheme where there is a mix, like there will be income plus growth. This 1 rupee is for sure because in growth, what may happen? Say maybe after 2 months I will get 2 rupees. And after 3 months I may get 80 pesos. Maybe because market inflation. But in hybrid scheme, both component will be there. Income plus growth. Right? That income plus growth will be there. Here, the interesting part is that your minimum income will be that you will get. Then there are tax saving scheme like tax saving scheme we all know. Is sometimes tax saving bond also comes by the banks like IDBI has come out one time with a tax saving bonds for ETC. These are called tax saving bonds. Then there are some like if you are particularly investing in the mutual fund, who will invest in a company which is say for example investing only in the real estate. So this kind of fund will be called a real estate funds. Then there are some offshore fund. Offshore fund means they invest outside India. You will give them money and they will invest outside India. Sir, why we need to understand these different type of funds? Because while investing, you should understand that what is the fund you are investing into. Because we all know under the law, mutual fund allows us to invest in the different category. Now, as an investor, I told you that day in the last class that whenever we read the ad relating to the mutual fund, it is always saying that please read the offer document carefully. What we have studied offer document is ICDR. They say please read the offer document carefully because your investment is subject to market. So that's why the reason before investing, you should know what kind of a mutual fund it is, whether it is going to give return or not. Say maybe you are investing in the offshore, but you realize that if you are investing in the offshore fund, there may be a problem. So better in that case, it will be that you take some other funds. So these are the different kind of funds on the basis of their investment. Similarly, there are some advantages of mutual fund, as I told you. What are the advantages? First, you get it professionally managed. जी अब क्या हुआ? Sir, what are close-ended mutual funds? Close-ended means you cannot sell it before maturity. It has to be sold only after maturity. And open-ended, you can sell it any day. So open-ended is more liquid and close-ended is not liquid. Now, advantage of mutual fund is that you will get a professional advice, first of all. It will be diversified. It will be managed by someone which we cannot manage. And fourth is there is a potential. Like as I told you, for us, it managing, like I have 100 crore, but how I'll manage? How I'll know कि ठीक है 10 crore इसमें invest, 5 crore इसमें invest, and 20 crore इसमें invest. But if I am diversifying it to mutual fund, then what will happen? The mutual fund will invest in a particular sector, seeing the good return there. So that is the advantage of mutual fund. Yes, obviously risk is involved. Say for example, इतना ज़्यादा diversified कर दिया, they have invested the funds in too much diversified sector, then the growth from one sector may be missed. May say for example, the next year the hotel industry is likely to boom, but I have invested my fund in the steel sector, in hotel industry, in mining, etc. What will happen? I will have a low return. So that is a risk. Then again, they concentrate too much on blue chip company. And blue chip company, what happens is that there the return is fixed, like kind of sort of itna hi return hoga. So that is again a risk. So these are the primary facing, some of the risk also associated with the advantage of mutual fund. But every mutual fund or whether CIS, write down one point with your hand. ये obviously hand pen से तो पूरा गाँव लिखता है. So one point you should write down so that it will be in your mind that any mutual fund or CIS, the collecting investment scheme, has to be registered with the SEBI. Unless it is registered, it is not can be categorized as a mutual fund or cannot be categorized as a CIS. What is the eligibility criteria for mutual fund, you may ask? The eligibility criteria is that sponsor should have a good track record, reputed business. He should have a net worth positive in last 5 years. He should have carried on business for a minimum period of 3 years, 5 years. So these are the conditions. Here is that I always say, best thing is that you remember 555. I5 and then you will remember this 5. Track record of business for 5 years, net worth positive for 5 years. Then interest and tax in the 3 out of 5. Again 5 years means in out of the 3, 5 years there is a profit. Means positive. You are not negative. So that is again a third criteria for a sponsor to register with the SEBI. So if you are satisfying this condition and the application is a fit person, etc., that you can read on your own. The one more primary condition that you should understand is that sponsors should contribute 40% of the net worth of asset management. Asset management company, like I told you for the IDBI example, the IDBI management company will be there, IDBI asset management company for mutual fund management. So you should be able as a IDBI, because IDBI is a sponsor here in the example. So as a sponsor, you should be ready to contribute 40% of the net worth of IDBI management company. So if you satisfy all these criteria, then you are considered as a mutual fund. Then you can go ahead with the registration of mutual fund. Again, whenever I'm talking about mutual fund and CIS, I'm telling you that these more or less are same. They play a role as a, you can say, more in a kind of a trust form, like taking your money and then investing your money. CIS invest in a particular property and give you return from there, whereas mutual fund invest in a diversified portfolio and give you the return. Now, in the mutual fund, you should understand there are two types of constituents. One is the principal, and the another three are market constituents. The total 8. In the mutual fund, there are total 8 constituents, 5 and 3. Like there also we have studied, there were too many constituents. Here there are 8 constituents, 5 principal. Who are the principal? From the example itself will be clear. Sponsor, the one who will bring in the money. Asset management company, which will manage. Trustee, who will be responsible, who will take care of the property. Then unit holders like us, and then the mutual fund, the name itself. So these are the 5 essential constituents of the mutual fund. Then sir, आप जो 3 market constituents बोल रहे हो, sponsor, एक sponsor, I contribution, AMC को MF बोल सकते हैं. I couldn't get this question. Sorry. Can you just repeat this question, Mane? So in the market intermediaries or market constitution, there are three main primary elements. One is the custodian, one is the transfer agent, and the third is the depository. Depository may not be seen here. So third you write down depository. So three market intermediaries are there and five principal constitutions are there. All together forms a mutual fund. Now in mutual fund, I'll take you to the page number. Terms and conditions of registration. We already discussed. So once you are satisfying the criteria, you will be eligible to register yourself as a mutual fund. Again, here the trustee, the sponsor, the asset management company, beside all this, should separately comply with the requirement of SEBI mutual fund regulations 1996. There is a separate mutual fund regulation 1996. That also you need to comply with in order to ensure that a proper all registered market constitutions are there for the mutual fund. जो स्पॉन्सर है वो करेगा नेटवर्क ऑफ एमएफ बोल सकते हैं. Yes, you can. So now with this completion of CIS mutual fund, why I'm taking a lighter topic, because thoda sa we know na that initially to start with the good topics, good thing, we need to go very slow and then we can jump onto some target topic. Next will come is the topic called in your book is the ombudsman scheme. I think that is 312. I'm right. And if it is not in the different chapter, please find it out. There is no jump like 312 is the ombudsman. Before we go to the ombudsman, you all know, because ombudsman, so it's a very easy for you people to understand. Like we all in our day-to-day activity face a lot of issues. Like bank में काम नहीं हो रहा तो बैंक ombudsman. Here phone पे काम नहीं हो रहा तो phone service center. Ombudsman नहीं है. Like network is not working, Vodafone, Airtel, then we call the investor center, the service center. That why not the phone is working. Please do post in your query as I'll answer. So these kind of a thing do happening while we are doing our day-to-day activities. So this is what the ombudsman scheme. You can say the ombudsman objective is to protect the investor. But you know that before that, the ombudsman activity still exists, but you know it is not in the active form. In active form, so then why you are discussing? Instead of saying the ombudsman regulation, maybe has a system called a score. The scores bolte to we all get confused because in our life scores does matter a lot. We all need to score high. We always think of that only. So scores mean SEBI complaints redressal system. The SCORES is defined as S stands for SEBI, CO stands for complaints, RE stands for redress, S stands for redress system. So this is called scores. SEBI has launched these scores. Now, before taking you to the entire chapter, I will tell you. Say, for example, a very good question. I will just like in between, like before, I am altogether on a different topic called scores. But since somebody has raised a question, I will like to answer. Like a question is there: custodian and depository participant both are keeping securities in their custody. So, what is the actual difference? See, actual difference is that custodian is not related to you. It's not acting on your behalf. Whereas DP will act on your behalf. Custodian is controlled by the overall, you can say for all the regulatories or all the securities in the country. Perfect example I'll give you. Like we all take out our money and deposit our money. RBI is there. But RBI takes the money and RBI gives the money. But have you ever gone to RBI directly to withdraw the money and deposit the money? Please, le lo mera money. Never. What we do, we go to the bank, deposit our money in our particular account. From there, in a systematic way, from bank it goes to the flow RBI. When we withdraw, the bank gives us the money. In a systematic way, it is withdrawn from RBI. Bank is dealing with the RBI, and we are dealing with the bank. So this is the situation of custodian. Like custodian is the NSDL CDSL securities of all the securities in India. Like maybe it's a company Reliance, maybe it's a company called HUL, this Marico, Nestle, whatsoever. All these companies are under the common pool of NSDL and CDSL. They are keeping their security in national NSDL or CDSL form. From there, they give the data of the security to the depository participant with whom we open our account and we trade in the security. So I think now the picture is clear with this example. I'm coming back to the topic that SEBI ombudsman regulation. So as I was telling you, that ombudsman is basically to take care of your complaint. We all have a number of complaints in our life. Even you people must be having some complaint with me. So we all have a complaint with each other. Where we get the complaint resolved is the basic thing. So SEBI has come out with the concept of SEBI ombudsman regulations 2003. What is this regulation is all about? This regulation says that if you are not happy with the answer of a company, listed company, or any intermediary, like you are not happy with the DP, you are not happy with the answer of your broker, then you can approach the SEBI ombudsman. Sorry. So if you are not happy with these, then you can. I think depository and custodian का बहुत बड़ा आप लोगों को confusion create हो गया है. I will come to this at the end. Just remind me, Vanya and Soumya. I will come and answer this depository and participant wala query. Now on ombudsman, as I was saying you. So basically, to resolve your query and to settle the matter. That is what the job of ombudsman is, and that is why there is a SEBI investor Indian system. Now, how this SEBI function? I told you that the ombudsman is not that active. Rather, SEBI function properly through scores. The SEBI complaints redressal system. Now, with this score, what happens? SEBI says if you are not happy with the company or intermediary, you log into the scores. Scores is a common ID available for all the investors. You log into the scores, register yourself, you will receive email ID password. Then with that email ID password, you log into the system. Then you will find all the company's detail there. Choose the company. Then you will find what is your nature of complaint. Choose the nature of complaint. Then they will ask you the reason of complaint. Write down the nature of complaint. Then they will ask you have been like what is your last communication with the company. You mention that, and post that you can submit this query. Now you will say, sir, what is the use of using this? I would have approached a company or I would have gone somewhere. No, with this, what happened is scores is under the aegis of SEBI. So SEBI is the market watchdog, you know everyone. So once this electronic mail is received, SEBI is so prompt. Don't think SEBI will take time. It is so prompt. Electronically, once you register this, immediately a copy will go to the company that there is a complaint against you to the SEBI and resolve it immediately. Now the company has to resolve it and the company has to send a report called आपको से लिख लीजिए पेन से पूरा दुनिया लिखती है ATR action taken report. The company will send action taken report to the investors and the company will also keep a copy to the SEBI that this is what I have replied. So if they do not reply the company do not reply, then SEBI will take all necessary action including issuing penalty and barring the company from trading. So see, this is the stringent provision. Like once you register a company under the score, it has to be resolved. But again, scores has a limitation. They will not entertain all your queries. Say for example, market map invest case ₹100, आज 70 रुपया हो गया, and you gone to the scores, it has gone down 70. Scores cannot entertain such query. Only the queries which are bona fide. Say my transfer is not affected, transmission is not affected, I have not received dividend, the shares are not credited to my account. So with all this query, I can go to the SEBI, but not for the others. This is what is the reason, or you can say particular grounds for registering a complaint with the SEBI scores. So this is in short, I wanted to give you the idea about the scores. Now, how we will take this after the investor grievance, which is the top priority for this. Now, salient feature of SEBI scores, you can see on the screen, it is a web enabled and 24 into 7. It is just like my WhatsApp status that I do write 24 into 7. So it is like that only that SEBI is available on throughout the day, 24 into 7. See, there are not so many forums. There is only SEBI has a one designated for that is called through scores only. They resolve your query through scores only. There are nothing else. First is to be through scores. Then there is an email is generated. What we have discussed, the complaint is forwarded online to the company for its redressal. Action taken report the company has to send. SEBI also look at the action taken report, and the concerned investor also can view the status of complaint online. You know, the moment you have registered the complaint, every day you can check it whether the company has replied, whether the company has not replied. That is a system you will get on the SEBI. And see, as I told you, there is a time period that all stockbrokers and DPs are required to reply within 15 days from the date of query. And if any information is required, then you ask the additional information within next 7 days. Say, for example, investor's complaint is incomplete. Then write to them that your boss, your complaint is incomplete. Give me further 7 days and give me the information. Then I will reply. But action taken report should be generated. So this is the function of a schools. SEBI Ombudsman regulation, which firstly says about the schools. And this is a very big benefit. Rather, you know, every company, just for your information, you should know practically, you should write it. See, there is a question like why we need to complain scores when we can also complain anywhere. Where you will complain, just suggestion, you will complain to the company will not listen to you. Where you will go? Straight away to the Supreme Court, straight away to the High Court, straight away to the Civil Court. You know, even if you go to the Civil Court and file a complaint, then you have to appear on the date of hearing. And if you appear on the date of hearing, you have to pay fee to the lawyer or fee to the one who will be representing you. Ultimately, the money is involved. So why to involve your money when you can have this through online system, just registering a complaint and getting it resolved? Say if I am giving you the system where you can complain it so easily, then why there is a need? You will think of the other form. And there is a one more query that why other platforms are there. I would like to have like tell me or guide me on the other platform because I think for the SEBI purpose there is only this platform. So there is no other platform other than schools to means to initiate a company. This is only one platform. Now in your mind, the things coming like I can understand one reason. You people think that Supreme Court is there, High Court is there, Civil Court is there. So courts are in ending is there for any settlement. Like घर में झगड़ा हो जाए तो we all know we can go to the anywhere High Court, Supreme Court for a dispute of property, etc. Whatever it is. But then if internally it settles out by the intermediation of someone, then it's always better. So score is a system which first says that SEBI will look into the matter. Obviously, if you're not happy with the SEBI, go to the SAT. If you do not happy with the SAT, go to the Supreme Court. These are the upper authorities. The initial level is with this court. So this is about this code. Now you will say, sir, is there any limitations? Yes. As I told you, there are some limitations. If, say, for example, there are complaints that are not under coming under the purview of schools, then it cannot be. Say, what are these? First, say, for example, you have filed a complaint. Company guy, company saaf suthra nahi tha. Can this be a securities related complaint? It cannot be. Say you have given a complaint without name, anonymous complaint. It will not be entertained. Say you have put allegation on the company, but there is no support. say you are saying company is store, company name, but where is the supporting? So that will not be accepted. Say for example, you are giving some suggestion, like you people are giving me today good suggestions. So if you are giving suggestions, then then if you are giving suggestions or guidance, explanation, then it will not be entertained because SEBI will say, boss, I am here to resolve the complaint, not to take the suggestion. Let's say, for example, there is some matter involving false document. Company has documented some submitted some document which is false, etc. So these are the complaint which is not falling under the SEBI purview. So these are the limitations cannot be taken by SEBI. Now, next question interesting came. Somebody has written, let's say, for example, if I have an arbitration clause in the investors agreement, then can I take the arbitration invitation, invoke the arbitration clause? Yes, before going to the score, you can invoke the arbitration. That is a better. Arbitration is rather कि बातचीत करके settle कर लो. Means हो गया गलती ठीक है आपस में बातचीत करके settle कर लो. That is a more like welcome move. But then this agreement has to be there because see, scores is basically for overall all the people, like scores, even people who are holding 1 share, 2 share, 3 share, 4 share, they can complain. But arbitration clause, the company will enter into big investors only. Say for example, those who are investing as a mutual fund, etc. With them only I can have the investors arbitration clause. Otherwise, if I have say purchase, for example, 1 share of Reliance, how can I have an arbitration clause in my agreement? There is no agreement. मैंने तो market से share लिया. फिर dividend नहीं आया तो I should write to scores only ना. So that is a scores and arbitration reference, which is in your this page also. You will find there is arbitration. Now next question comes for unlisted. There is a complete silence. There is nothing like that. You can go for the scores. Now timeline, as I told you, that it is again barred by the law of limitation. That you should write it down. And I assume कि मैं जब sometimes होता हूँ write it down. I have a like from my passion from teaching, a bad habit of saying every time write it down and हाथों से लिखो पेन से नहीं. I'm sure you all taken care of it. That within 3 months, 3 years, you have to take the complaint. Otherwise, if you do not go approach the SEBI within 3 years, SEBI will say, boss, it is barred by law of limitation. If, say, for example, when can SEBI take action for non-resolution? There are a number of things. As I told you, SEBI can start freezing the shares, SEBI can start penalty, etc., etc. Now coming to the ombudsman. Ombudsman is again next person. Like if you have used, I don't know how many of you are so much like approach the ombudsman. If you use the Vodafone Airtel, then you will notice say your query is not resolved by Vodafone or Airtel, etc. Then ultimately you go to the ombudsman and write to them that this is not happening. Similarly, is in electricity. Similarly, is in the bank. In fact, you have must seen the advertisement. The bank may they are advising that you have an ombudsman. Approach them. Tell them. Ombudsman is generally a person. Now, when you will go to the details of the ombudsman regulation, you will find the SEBI needs to appoint somebody as an ombudsman who is having 10 years of experience as a like practitioner, law practitioner, and who is an independent, who is a not found guilty, who is not involved in the moral turpitude, etc. So, if these conditions are satisfied, the person can be appointed as an ombudsman. Generally, he is a kind of an independent person who will guide in the judicial matters relating to the SEBI. He will say that this is to be happened and this has to be happened within so many days. Now you will say, sir, why should I listen to the ombudsman? For one reason, because once ombudsman say this, it takes the shape of a award. Once, say for example, ombudsman say this has to be done, it takes the shape of the award and it has to be passed accordingly. So this is why the role of ombudsman increased. Now, what will be the jurisdiction of the ombudsman? The jurisdiction of the ombudsman will be the law where the company is situated, like Kolkata, Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi. According to this, ombudsman will be finalized. Ombudsman, they will receive the complaint. They will try to find out the word you should write or remember is the amicable settlement, means familiar settlement. Like say for example, you have gone for the company, that company is not paying the dividend, so it should not be like that. The company को डांट दिया. Amicable means friendly. He will ask the company कि okay ठीक है, shareholder बोला है मान लो. Now shareholder को समझाएगा कि see company have missed out. Please try to understand. Don't do too much of drama, but then amicably in a friendly way settle this out. And for this purpose, we will try to resolve the matter, and that is what called as a amicable settlement. That is the first job. And whatever the order he will pass will take the shape of a award. Again, here also procedure for redressal, please write down that he will also take only those complaints which purview to the market of the CB. Means those complaints which are not relating to the market, that will not be amicable settlement. As I told you, is a friendly settlement. Means settlement in a friendly way, both way. That is what called the amicable settlement. That is amicable settlement. Okay. Now again, here the limitations are same. Limitations for those like whatever limitations, whatever the limitations were there in the scores, the limitations will be there in the ombudsman also. Okay. Next is a procedure for filing of complaints. See, under the scores, you were filing the complaint online. Here, you will submit the paper to the ombudsman. Ombudsman will take the paper. Ombudsman will ask the company to present, and ombudsman will ask you to be present on the date of hearing. So, rather, the ombudsman is a difficult process because it takes time, requiring your presentation, etc. And before the ombudsman, whatever you will say, again, it doesn't take a shape of a evidence because oral ombudsman, whatever you say before the ombudsman is not a evidence at all. In the next page, you will find, see, there is a particular para, yeah, page number 321, you can find it, that evidence act not to apply in the proceeding before, because there are certain matters which will not apply, or there are certain things which will not be considered as an evidence, like because ombudsman may take your oral hearing also. Day of hearing, you will go and you will say something कि sir ऐसा ऐसा हुआ company में, I have requested for dividend, company has not paid me. I have called the company secretary denied also. So these will be taken orally, and these documents, whatever the oral or writing also, will not be considered as a evidence. So this is what the process of ombudsman. But as I told you at the very beginning, again reiterating those words, that it is still not applicable. It is, sorry, not widely acceptable because SEBI has yet to come out. So whenever you will read this, under one of the para, you will read display of the particulars of ombudsman. Page number 331 only, that every listed company should have displayed the name of ombudsman, that who will be the ombudsman for this company. As a listed company, you should display the name, who will be the ombudsman of the SEBI, where you can complain. And you will find the companies are not displaying it because the SEBI has not given a cognizance to the ombudsman too much so far. They are rather focused more on the scores. So scores override this. Next is the informal guidance scheme. Informal guidance scheme, as the name suggests, informal. That means not formal. What happens? I am telling you in short. When you will find many of the regulations, when you will start working, you will find many of the regulations of the SEBI either confusing, or maybe you will think कि ये violation तो हो गया है. But say for example, अगर हम disclose कर दें, तो can I do away with, or can, say for example, there is no clarity in the law. It says like whenever the next, immediately after this, we will study the takeover and insider trading. So you will find कि सर ये takeover में लिखा है कि 25% more acquire कर लें. Sir, I have done this, say for example, acquiring this, but then my acquisition is through different way. I am acquiring it from 10 different parties, not naming it today mine, but tomorrow it may be disclosed that all parties are mine. So will it be considered as a violation of this provision? These kind of a guidance, informal, that is what the name is. Informal guidance will be given by the SEBI to you. They will say, boss, whenever you feel there's no clarity in the law, but then you'll feel, can there be an action taken on the company for this? Then you can request SEBI to give an informal guidance. That is why it is on 2 points. One is no action letter, and another is your interpretative letters. Means you will ask SEBI that, sir, first give the no action letter, or secondly give the interpretative letters. Like no action letter means, say you have done something wrong, you have not complied with, so you will write to this requisition, issue us a no action letter. They will say, if they feel like that, again emphasize on this word what I'm saying. SEBI will say, if the SEBI feels so that there will be no action, a department will not take any action for this. They feel, again I'm telling you, they feel. Why? Because first of all, एकदम हाथों से लिख लीजिए, informal guidance, informal guidance. It is case to case basis. It is nowhere assurance that what I am saying is correct, absolutely correct. It says it seems so. जैसे आप लोग नहीं पूछते हो कि like can this be happen if I say yes I think so. I think and I'm sure it is two different words. Means like you can say a difference of word of, you can find a gap of word between these two words, between these two words, that I'm think or I'm sure. So no action letters are the letters issued by the SEBI where they say that the department will not take any action for this. And interpretative letters are those, like say for example, I'm not understanding what do you mean by this. Say I'm asking the SEBI, why you saying these senior management, you have defined certain person. Can VP, vice president, or can divisional head of the company will also be included in that? So this kind of information, if I'm seeking from SEBI, then these are called interpretative. SEBI will guide me. And where I am asking SEBI whether there will be action taken or not, yes, these kind of letters are non-action letter. So these two are the issued by the SEBI. Why SEBI will issue? There is a process under informal guidance scheme 2003. You need to write to the SEBI, and you will write along with the fees. SEBI also take a fee. A particular fee is defined. They will take this fees. They will take your request. Then after examining your details and your fees, they will give you these letters that will help you for your future. Now you will say, "Ki sir, ek cheez batao." Say for example, I am taking a no action letter that I am thinking this planning. Do you think it will be a violation? SEBI said, no, I don't think so. So, sir, if SEBI disclose in the market, then what will happen? So SEBI gives you the assurance. If whatever the informations or what is the you can provide papers, documents, the SEBI will keep it confidential for a period of 90 days. Means whenever I will reply, during the reply it will be confidential for sure. But whenever I send you the reply, because SEBI has to send you the reply, they will keep it confidential for next 3 months. Will not be in the market. So after this, it will be on the website of the SEBI. Because whatever the informal guidance you see from the SEBI, they will post it on the website. And that is why the reason the name is an informal guidance. They will say it is informal. SEBI thinks so. But there is nothing like that. SEBI will give you for sure. There will be no action. That is prima facie. So that is why the informal guidance. Now, next question before it comes into your mind, before we close this informal guidance, the question might be coming in your mind. He said, what you said is right, but why to go for informal guidance? Yes, obviously, people do prefer to go for informal guidance for one reason. Because what happened? I am sure if this I can do and there will be no violation. But I feel if somebody supports me and somebody say, because then you are right, then I will be doubly confident. So SEBI gives that confidence. It doesn't give that confirmation that no action, but it says, I think there will be no action for this. So once they say this, at least this gives me the comfort because I can do it. Understood? So that is what the informal guidance is. Now I will take you to the another chapter called SaaS, the SEBI acquisition, substantial acquisition of shares and takeover. Page the is we will study takeover. Yes, takeover. Takeover is another like very difficult. People think so, but I will tell you today, it's very easy. Tomorrow I will give you the chat in the morning before we start. It's a very easy. This like we think so it's tough, but it's the other way. If you can simply understand what is the logic of fast, you will find it too easy. And thereafter we will go with the insider. AB takeover is on page number. It is on the page. It is on page 148. Why there is a need for takeover and why there is a takeover code? Why we take about the takeover code and all? Somebody have asked a question that CB SAT scores whichever is higher. But obviously, as I told you, SAT the score is not authority. Scores is a system. SAT is the authority, and there is a authority SEBI. So we all know that SEBI say if you are not happy, you will go to the SAT. SAT is the higher one, and if you are not happy with the SAT, you will go to the Supreme Court. Source mobilization will be tomorrow. Will do. Now coming to the takeover. What do you mean by takeover code and why we need a takeover code? You know why there was a need of takeover code? Takeover code has come in the 1994 by way of a regulation. Thereafter 1997. Then finally it were notified as a 2011. Now what is the difference? Sir? Why there is a takeover code at all? See what happens if there is no takeover. I will just like before we go to the takeover, there are one or two queries which I would like to answer. Somebody is saying that under ICDR, I can go to the SAT, etc. Obviously, you can go to the SAT, etc. See, you are not getting one point. Under the ICDR, you can go to the SAT. Once, say, for example, I want to get a license. These are the matters which are vital. Say, I have applied to the SEBI for giving me the no objection for further issue. SEBI is not giving me the objection. These type of complaints are arising against the SEBI. That is why you are going to the site directly. Suppose me, you are more or less for a company on day-to-day basis. Like I am a shareholder of a company. If I am not receiving it, if I am not receiving my annual accounts, do you think that I will go to the site? Please मेरे को annual reporting. Please मेरे को ये trading का पैसा नहीं मिला. For that reason, try to understand the gravity of SAT as well as the gravity of schools. Is for the company purpose, whereas and for the purpose of taking the complaint at the gravity level. I hope this is clear. Okay, thanks. Now coming back to the takeover. Why there is a takeover? See, understand the basic idea. Now for next 5 minutes, listen it carefully. Then I can tell you This 5 minutes will be best enough to summarize the entire takeover. Takeover code main intention is that to protect hostile takeover. Means nobody should acquire the shares of the company without information. Right? See, if I'm having a company and if somebody with a bad intention acquires a substantial part of these shares, what will happen? He will try to influence the decision. He will not, he may not allow me to work properly, or even he may allow me to work properly, then he may ruin my business. He will lead the business. So my security or my business is gone. That is the first reason. Second, now sir, we never understand if when I am making for say for example, I'm making an offer. I have to make it for 26%. Once I cross the 25% level, this 26% offer to made to whom? This 26% is made to the remaining shareholder. Means why public? Because say for example, a company X is there listed company. I want to acquire this X listed. I know that I can acquire it. I have entered into an agreement with the somebody, but I have decided so much to make a public offer to go beyond 25%. I made a public offer. Now with this public offer, what will happen? I will say those who are the public shareholders of X company, they should surrender the share first. They should first be benefited. Say share price is rupees 100. So if it is 100 and I am going to pay somebody 110 to the party for this share, then these 110 rupees first should go to the public. Like say for example, X company ka promoter is there. Promoter is holding 20% or 30%. Now promoter said, I want to exit. I said, okay, you exit by giving 30% to me. This 30% means, say, for example, 30% shares. He's saying, okay, you take this 30% shares and I will make an exit. I don't want to continue. I said, okay. I decided to purchase 30%. The moment 25% trigger an offer. Now, why I should make it to the public? That is your question. If 30% means that you should be happy. No. When 30% I am acquiring, the open offer says that I am going to acquire this 30% of the shares of the company. And I'm making an open offer first to you people to offer me shares at the same price. Say the promoter is saying my price per share is 150 rupiah, 150. I will say to the remaining public that I am taking the shares at 150. So if you want to give me the shares 150, you first give me. Because otherwise what will happen? Say share price is 100 and I am paying the promoter 150. So bechare shareholders, the remaining public shareholders will not be benefited. So it is a kind exit opportunity. In short, if you look at this scenario, I'm giving the exit opportunity to the public shareholder because I'm taking 150. You give me 150, I will take your share first. So this is why the reason is that when I take this 25% more, I give a takeover announcement for 26% for the public. If they give me, it's a good enough. If they do not give me, obviously, I will enter into the agreement with the promoter. And sometimes what happens while taking the shares from the public, I always think, say, for example, I total want to acquire, I am purchasing this 30% with an intention. I will not be working properly unless I have a 50%. So promoter said, "Hey, boss, I am giving you 30%. I said, you are giving 30%, that is okay. But then I am not happy with the 30%. I need 20% more. Promoter will say, okay, make offer 26%. But in this open offer, public may not offer me. Public think, okay, price will go more higher. Public will say, no, we will not give the shares to this person. Let's keep it. So I will not have any shares, or maybe 5-6% shares public will give. So with this 30% plus 5-6% of public, I will have only 36%. With this thing 36%, what I'll do? Nothing, because I want 50. So in that case, I can come out with an open offer with a minimum level of acceptance. What is this minimum level of acceptance? I will say that beside this 30%, if I receive 20% only, then only I will accept under the open offer. Otherwise, I will reject. Means I will not accept. Understood that why I'm saying minimum level of acceptance to be accepted? That I'm putting a condition. If I do not conditional acceptance, that if I do not receive 20% at least, then I will not purchase any shares from them. So in that case, if say for example 6% has given me the share, I will say to those 6%, it was bye bye. I will not receive your money. But then if I'm not putting this conditional acceptance, then I have to receive or I have to accept whatever shares traded. Maybe one or two, three, four, five, six, whatever percentage of shares traded, I have to receive. But if I put it conditional acceptance, then I may reject. That is why under the conditional acceptance, since I am doing kind of a dictatorship, that I will not accept if 20% is not. So under conditional acceptance, I have to deposit some amount in the escrow. I will discuss this, don't worry. Escrow account is an account where you keep the fund. So this is a primary picture I wanted to give. Now, so beside this, how does the SEBI regulate this? Like if you are saying that whenever I am acquiring shares, the company should. Yes. So that is why there is a rule. Say, for example, if you are holding 5% shares of a company, then you need to make a disclosure. Say I'm having 3-4% of a company, then I'm not required to make. Once I acquire 5%, I need to make a disclosure to the stock that my stock holding has increased to 5%. Once you have acquired 5%, your name is there in the list of company and you have informed the company as well and the stock exchange as well. This 5%, whenever you will acquire some shares, which tend to amounts to 2%. Say 5% is a holding and now I have acquired another 1%. So it makes 6%. I am not required to make. But if I have acquired 2% of shares, then I need to make a disclosure to the stock exchange that I have acquired further 2% of shares. And that intimation. Why these intimations are taking place? Because SEBI should realize, and means the company should realize that what is your holding as of now and how you are increasing your holding. Say I am acquiring shares in a company. I have acquired 5%, made disclosure. Then I have acquired further 2%, making it 7, made disclosure. Then I have another acquired 2%, making it 9, made disclosure. Then I have acquired another 2%, making it 11, made a disclosure. So the company X will understand that what Ravi Varma is acquiring my shares gradually over a period of time, and he may be a dangerous because he is taking shares gradually of the company. The company can think of increasing its holding by other way. That gives a safeguard mechanism to the company. That is what the takeover is. And the next one thing before I started giving Gyan on the regulation, you should understand apart from these disclosure, apart from this CB has one more lucrative feature in this because many people have a like you can say we all have a kind of a mind, sugar mind. We think of different things. People will say, sir, I will not acquire shares in my name. What I will do, I will ask somebody purchase shares on my name, and that person and myself can gradually increase my holding. And after a certain period of time, we both will say that we have this much of shares of your company. So in order to put a curve on that also, the SEBI has mandated that if not these limits are applicable not for you singly, these limits are to be considered along with the holding of PSC. PSC means person acting in. Again, what do you mean by PSC? Person acting in concern. All are PSA, those who are acting together with you in order to acquire the shares of a company. So whenever you are counting your holding, count your holding with the person acting in concern. Lastly, these regulations are applicable only to listed company. The target company should be listed. Target means जिसका share खा रहे हैं. They are the target. जिस पे हम attack कर रहे हैं, they are the target. Acquirer means myself, the one who is acquired. Okay. So now we will understand. I think this overall picture is clear. Now you will find the regulations much easier because see regulations you have to find out time. Like how I will tell you basically. Now public announcement DPS. What is it, sir? Public announcement in DPS is that once you have decided to acquire the shares of the company, how you will inform the company. You know, SEBI, I used to study like this only. How come this can happen that you were so intelligent? See, just apply your mind. Okay, now I understood the basic of SEBI, this takeover regulation. Now, sir is saying that you need to inform the shareholder for acquiring share. How you will inform? You will inform through public announcement. You will make a detailed public statement. These are the way of informing shareholder. Okay, sir, inform the shareholder. Now, how I'll pay the share, sir? You will pay the money to the shareholder. Sir, from where the money will come? From your fund. Sir, how I will know money is there? You will keep the money in escrow account. Okay, sir. Now I got it, sir. Now I think CB takeover is much easier. So now let's straight away proceed to the CB part. Definition, you should read the definition of acquirer. As I told you, acquirer means any person. Like it can be a firm, it can be a company, it can be an individual, or any person. Acquisition means directly or indirectly acquiring voting rights. It's voting right. Please write down. Sometimes, say for example, preference shares are there on which voting rights have been developed. You all know if you do not pay dividends, you don't know. In between, if you put the different questions, I'll definitely answer, but not today. So acquisition, coming back to the acquisition. You all know it's a direct or indirect acquisition of voting rights. So even if the preference shares have accumulated voting right, that acquisition can be treated as an acquisition. Controls means a policy decision control, management control, or control to appoint majority of the directors. Say for example, if on the board 6 directors are there, out of 6, 4 directors can be appointed by board. This is called control. Because these are the things you should know. These are the trigger points for takeover. Now, how this takeover code is working? See, applicability. Under the applicability, you will find that these share regulation apply direct or indirect acquisition. About the acquisition, we have already discussed what is acquisition. So if there is a direct or indirect acquisition or a control acquisition, then this takeover will be able. Now, under the same page, you will find a chart. It is given that once you reach 25% or more, you should write it clearly. Make it takeover chapter very easy for you. That 25% or more you acquire, you need to make an offer. See, your example is given. A is holding 23, and thereafter he has acquired 3%. So the post holding is 26. It has crossed 25. An offer has to be taken. Right? He is having 7%. He is acquiring further 2%. The holding is 9%. Not required to open. That's clear from the tutorial part which is given there in the your study mat. So open offer further can be divided into mandatory and voluntary. Voluntary you should highlight because voluntary has been recently launched. Because many people were finding it too difficult to go through the mandatory offer process. So there was a concept derived of the voluntary offer. Yes, scraping acquisition, I understood. It will come into your mind. I will come to that later part, don't worry. Let me see another query has come in. Yeah, creeping, I understood. The moment I saw there creeping acquisition, I thought it. I don't worry. I must like I once upon a time, and even at that point of time also, I am a student. Creeping accusation will discuss. So mandatory and creeping voluntary option. Now, what is mandatory? Mandatory, I showed you. You should write whenever 25% or more is acquired, you need to make an offer. That is called mandatory offer. Okay, so that you should write it very clearly. Now, what happens? For example, I have acquired a 25% per more. I made open offer. Under open offer, I have received 5%. How much holding I will have now? 25 to take remains gradually over a period of time, and 5% मेरे को open offer. So now it is total. Now I am not going to keep silent on this 30%. What I will do, I will keep acquiring the shares because from the day one only, I wanted to acquire 50-60% of this. So the law has a limit. Law says when you acquire 25% or more, then any year in a financial year, you shouldn't acquire more than 5% without making an open offer. You understood my point? We did not understand. Again, I'll come back. Say, for example, open offer says once you acquire 25% or more, you will make an open offer. Right? I have, suppose, say, for example, I have acquired 25% from a promoter. I made an open offer. Under open offer, I received 5% more shares from the public. Now my total shareholding is 30%. So now, beside this 30%, to any day I can start from market like after 30 days, so I will start from market purchase 30%, 10%, 15%. I will think कि open offer वाला limit तो गया because open offer तो एक ही बार करना था 25% or more. That is why SEBI says कि not only 25% or more. Once you reach 25%, then also there will be some limit for open because it is not one time. Otherwise, you will say कि सर 25% आने पे एक बार आता है, उसके बाद आपका 30 हो जाए, आप जितना भी कर सकते हो. The law says once you acquire 25%, it will be triggered. Then thereafter, once you reach 25%, then over a period of years, in any financial year, there is a cap. कि आप company का only 5% you can acquire. Once you acquire more than 5% of any company, then again you will be required to open. Means, say, as I was telling you the example, that 25% I have acquired. Now, beside this 25%, I have got 5% from public under the open offer. My holding is 30%. So, with this 30% holding also, I have a limitation. I can acquire 5% in a financial year. Means, if 30 is there, then I can go up to 34, 35 maximum. The moment I go for 35.1, again I need to make. But again, yes, they are saying because you are again acquiring more than 5% in a year. So again, you need to make an offer to the public, and whatever share you want get it from public because the moment I'm making or acquiring more than 5%, the intention is clear. The intention is that I'm acquiring bulky share. So the moment again you are acquiring bulky share to the public. So if you ask me when the open offer will be triggered, one is initial 25% or more. Second is continuum. Between 25 to 75, my holding, whenever I cross 5%. So there are two, initial and continuum. I think now the clipping is clear. Now, people do have a question that, sir, say for example, if once we gripping acquisition and once this 25% or 75% is done, as we generally see, you people are saying that the maximum or the maximum promoter, or you can say the minimum holding is 25%. So 75 to sir, in any case, I can straight away will take on the promoter if the promoters are willing to. So to answer this, I will say if you find a company like this where 60% of promoter wants to sell their share directly to you, you can. There is no bar that you cannot go for 60% at one go. You can, but then again you need to make an open offer because you are crossing 25% already. So you will make an open offer. Public will give you the share first, and if public will not give you the share, then you can go ahead with the 60% of this. And if the public gives you, then you will go with the 60 plus this shares whatever offered under the takeover code, that is 60%. So this way we're talking about direct control. Now there might be some cases where indirect control can also be there. Okay, indirect control can come into the picture. The person cannot help. Pavitra, your query is very good. I just was wondering if somebody write me if a person holds more than 75%, you should know the SEBI norms that nobody is allowed to hold this more than this much of share under the listed entity, and that is why takeover applied only to listed company as targeted. Now, what is indirect acquisition? Those who are raising a hand, are they really want to answer or something like that? I never understand. Do you really want to speak here, or for what you have raised and I couldn't make it out? Is there a special query there or something like that? You want to say share with something else? So, Pavitra, that is why I tell you, I would told you that if promoters are there holding more than 75%, they have to sell it to the public automatically under the ICDR. They cannot hold more than 75%. So no person can hold. So there is no question that acquiring from a person who is holding more than 75%. Now, indirect acquisition, I will come. What is indirect acquisition? Indirect acquisition says, like, say, for example, it explains as the acquisition of shares, voting rights over any other company which will enable the acquirer of the shares to exercise the right over a target company. Say, perfect example I'm giving you. You will say, sir, target company, the list has to be listed a company. Understood. I will do, suppose this listed entity is a subsidiary of a unlisted company. It can be a subsidiary of a unlisted company. Now I am acquiring that unlisted company. So you will say it's a unlisted company you are acquiring, so basically takeover will not come into the picture. You are perfectly right. Because now I am acquiring unlisted company. Target company is not listed. SEBI takeover regulation will not be applicable. Here in this situation, what will happen? Since I am making an acquisition of unlisted company, which is a holding company of listed entity. Once I acquire this company, the unlisted company, today I will have a hold means the listed company in my head also because listed company is my subsidiary. So in that case, SEBI is also very careful. SEBI says if you are doing indirect and in such a way that you can exercise, say for example, over the net asset value of that listed company 80%, turnover 80%, or market cap of 80%. If you can exercise all these powers over this, any of these, then it will be considered as a deemed direct acquisition and you will be required to make open. You understood why I am saying so? Because you can think of different way. When the class will over, you will think of, sir, why not acquire unlisted company, which is a holding company of listed company? Okay, manager, once I acquire unlisted company, the listed company is in my hand because listed company is a subsidiary of that. In that case, you will be falling under the deemed direct acquisition. Means though it's an indirect acquisition, but SEBI will define it as a deemed direct acquisition. So that is what indirect acquisition. Earlier, there was another thing. That say what happens once I acquire the shares from the promoter and public. I am a, like say for example acquirer. I am acquiring from a promoter 40. I have to make an open offer first, yes or no. Yes. Second, If open offer has to be made, it has to be for 26% or more. I will make it. 40% I acquired from promoter, or 20% say for example I have received from public. 40-20 makes it 60. Now 60% control is with me. I don't want this company to be listed any longer because see listed again is an expensive thing because you need to manage the shareholder, you need to register with the custodian, need to register with the intermediary, you need to have a broker, stock broker. All these things are required. That why not we make it unlisted? Until there was no provision under the takeover code to go for delisting. But now under the SEBI takeover code, there is a provision for delisting as well. Means when I make the public announcement to the public, I will include that information and I am going to get the shares delisted. That will be envisaged in the public announcement very clearly. Once this information is there that I will delist the shares, then I can get my shares delisted. But sir, then will not you follow the delisting guideline regulation? Yes, I will follow the delisting regulation. I will get the approval of the shareholders also for delisting. And if the shareholder do not vote, then delisting will fail. Understood? So delisting will run parallelly with the takeover. Write it. Some things which I am saying is worth writing. That delisting and the takeover regulation will run parallelly. So if you do not receive that consent in terms of the delisting regulations, then yes, obviously, you cannot go with the delisting. Then again, what you can do, you will make again an announcement in the public that it was not successful delisting, and you can go ahead with the only takeover, continuation of takeover. Okay. So now delisting offer can be clubbed. Why I'm not detailing the delisting? You will think is sir delisting for detail में क्यों नहीं पढ़ा रहे? Because delisting we will study tomorrow in our delisting regulation 2009 separate chapter. Now we have studied the mandatory. Thanks. Voluntary offer. What is a voluntary offer, sir, and why it has come? Voluntary offer means that without triggering the condition I am making an offer. See, it says very clearly prior of holding of at least 25% in case you are going under the mandate. Whereas in voluntary offer, any person can acquire. Means what's the per se, for example, we all know mandatory offer में बार I am saying we need to acquire 25% or more, 25% or more to trigger the open offer. Voluntary offer means you do not need to have any shares. You just make an open offer. But there are certain conditions. What is the condition? Condition says where an acquirer has acquired with any person in 52 weeks without attracting the obligation to make public announcement, then he will not be eligible to make a voluntary offer. Means say for example, I have acquired one or two shares of a company in the last 2 weeks, 52 weeks. I cannot make a voluntary offer. But if I have not acquired any shares in the last 52 weeks, that means in 1 year, then I can go for voluntary. Voluntary offer means, say for example, my shareholding is 0% today. I will say I want to acquire this company and I want to acquire the shares of this company. I will go with that also. Whereas under the mandatory offer, you need to have 25% or more, or you need to cross the creeping acquisition if you have already holding 25%. But in voluntary, even if I'm holding nil, no holding at all, but I will say I want to make that I can do. So if my question, say for example, I ask you, can I make an open offer even if I'm holding 0%? What will be your answer? Yes. Under what? Under voluntary. Okay. So this is what the voluntary offer. Under the voluntary offer, there are certain conditions. It says the voluntary under the voluntary offer, they cannot acquire shares from other means also other than from the voluntary offer itself. There's some question I'm just reading out solve the previous paper. I can solve it proper time, but sometimes surprise question is interested. See, Yashwanti, your question is there very much relevant, but that is why I told you now that these questions we will take it tomorrow. The question answer session for last half an hour short. I will make it that I will answer all the questions and answer what you will ask relating to securities mark, that how you perform better, what should you answer, how you get confused, all this will be taken. Voluntary offer can be made if you have not made during 1 year any acquisition. And why voluntary offer is concept is popular? Because voluntary offer can be made even if you are having the 0% of shares holding. Means you are not holding any percentage of share. You can make a voluntary offer. Conditional offer, I told you that where there is a minimum level is given. Say for example, I am saying I will only acquire if 10% of public gives me the shares. This is called conditional offer. So if I am saying this, then I am under the compulsion, write it that I am under the compulsion to acquire if that level is reached. See in the last three lines of this page, in a conditional offer, if the minimum level is not achieved, then the acquirer shall not acquire any shares under the open offer, which has triggered the open offer. Say for example, I am saying I will be only happy if I get 20% from the market or 30%. And if I do not get 30%, I may say, I'm not interested because I want 30%. Understood? That is called conditional offer. Now, I will take you to the how you make it. Like, first, you need to make a public announcement. This is the criteria. Public announcement will be more or less the timeline is given. It is more or less on the same day. Just remember it. It is more or less on the same day. If, for example, you have acquired some shares, on the same day you will make a public announcement. You are going to acquire some shares, say for example, by way of agreement, and you are signing agreement today, you will make the public announcement today. You are going to purchase some shares from the market, then you make the public announcement prior to the placement of order. Means before placing the order, I will make a public announcement that I am going to acquire these shares. Here, so these are the I need to do the public announcement. Then there is a after this public announcement. Public announcement is a very short, where I will say my intention is there. There will be a detailed public statement, which is called DPS, not Delhi Public School. It's a DPS, detailed public statement, which should be made within 5 working days of public announcement. So while I'm saying this, you should do one thing for me. A page लिखे you should write in the vertical form. First is the public announcement, then 5 working days is for DPS. DPS is a detailed public statement, and it will be published in the newspaper also. It has to be like, say for example, once the public announcement is done, then you will send this copy of public announcement to the stock exchanges, and you will disseminate to the public also by way of putting in the website also. Next, you will make is a detailed public statement. Detailed public statement shall be published in the newspaper, English, Hindi, one vernacular. And it will be a big advertisement which will give the details. What will be the details in the detailed public statement? Just write it. Details like kitna shares you will purchase from the market, what price you will have, what is your target company, the composition, what is your acquirer cash strength, why acquirer is acquiring the target, what they think, how it will help acquirer to acquire the target, who are the auditors of both sides, who are acting as a compliance officer. These all detail you will give in the detailed public statement. Now, sir, this detail we will give, but how we will calculate the price? Calculation of price, the offer price for which there is a separate calculation under the takeover, which says you have to calculate the price on the basis of, say, for example, in the last 1 year, if I paid something highest price to the promoter or any public also, say in the last, just before making the public announcement, before a month, I have acquired the shares at 150, and today the share market price is 80. But despite share market fees being 80, I have to pay 150 because I have acquired in the last 52 weeks at a higher price. I have made at the acquisition from the public at a higher price than the present market price. So higher of the market price, or you can say volume weighted average price, these are the parameters to be calculated. Why इतने क्यों देते हैं मन में क्वेश्चन आता होगा सर why they all give the what is weighted average price highest price during the 26th week etc. Why they always give confusing calculation? Reason being, say for example, SEBI is a market which is run by security trading. So if I want to manipulate the market, I can do. What I will do because I am prepared that I am going to acquire the shares of the company in the next 6 months. So just to ensure, I will intimate the company that I will acquire the company in next 6 months. The company will also be aware because see all this work will start prior to such announcement. So the company is aware that we are going to sell. What the company will do as a promoter of that company, I will think why not I increase the price of the share so that सामने वाला party will pay me the higher. I will try to increase the share price of my company. How I will increase? I will ask people to purchase from the market. So once they start purchasing, the market will react positive. People will think, okay, so many people are purchasing the shares. That means share is going to be good. And in this anticipation, price will go high. So the SEBI, by way of this formula, neutralize the effect. Even if you have done this practice of making it higher by way of taking volume weighted average price, by way of taking the volume weighted average market price, these all manipulation will be settled and a neutral price will be generated. This is the offer price calculation. Once you decide with the offer price, the next is that you need to prepare a letter of offer and submit it to the SEBI. Within how many days? After DPS, within 5 working days. Public announcement, detailed public statement, letter of offer. Whom you will give the letter of offer? You will give the letter of offer to the SEBI. SEBI, what they will do? SEBI will have a comment on it. You need to wait for the comment of the SEBI. And once you receive the comment, then dispatch it. How many days SEBI will give the comment, sir? SEBI will generally give the comment within 15 days. If you do not receive any comment from the SEBI, then within 7 days from that, 7 working days only, 7 working days from that, you need to dispatch it to the shareholders. Sir, ये dispatch कर देना shareholder को? Yes, ये dispatch कर देंगे to the shareholders of target company. So first is public announcement, detailed public statement. After detailed public statement, letter of offer. Wait for SEBI comment for 15 days. Otherwise, within 7 working days, dispatch the letter of offer. Once you dispatch it, then opening of the offer starts. Means the people will be required to tender the shares, and it will be working for 10 working days. From when the window will start, sir? When you dispatch the letter, means it's 7 working days you need to dispatch from the receipt of comment. Within 12 working days from the date you receive the comments of the SEBI. Say for example, SEBI has given the comment, you incorporate the comment. Within 7 working days you dispatch, and within 12 working days from the receipt of comment from the SEBI, the window should open. Means effectively after these 7 days of dispatch, you will have 5 working days in hand if you leak the effective mechanism. So within that period, from that window will start, and the window should remain open for 10 working days. Within 10 working days, people will tender shares. Say for example, if I want to sell out the shares, I will tender the shares that I want to sell. So you will receive the share. Once this trading window means tendering period, this is called tendering period. Once this tendering period is done, then you need to make an allotment and come out with a post-closure advertisement. Now, during this tendering period, if the persons are tendering the shares, what is the mechanism? How they will be sure that they will receive the money? They will receive the money by way of a commitment that their fund is in escrow account. Escrow account, what is this account? It is a separate account opened with the bank where the person who is making offer will deposit. Otherwise, say making an open offer will become a laughing tool. Say for example, I made an open offer and I will say I don't have a money there. At the end, when people will surrender the shares, I will say I have no money. So you can't say like this. You have to deposit the money. Say if your issue size is coming 500 crore, then you will deposit 25% of consideration. And if it is more than 5%, then up to 5% you will deposit 25%. And after an additional amount of 500, you will deposit 10% as a security deposit. So that at least SEBI will be aware that you have a money. Otherwise, no person should without money make an open offer. So this is escrow account. Now, can you withdraw the offer once you made a withdrawal? Strictly saying SEBI doesn't allow. But in some cases, the SEBI can allow withdrawal of offer. What are those offers? Say, for example, you have not get any statutory approval under the open offer. Say, I said when I made a DPS detailed public statement, I said I will enter or I will acquire this company only if I get a license to operate under SEZ, Special Economic Zone. I didn't get the approval. So obviously, then acquiring this company doesn't make sense. So statutory approvals denied. I not required to have an approval. A natural person, right? Say for example, if made by an individual, and individual has right. So who will acquire the company? No one. So these are the circumstances under which you can withdraw the offer. But strictly saying, only under certain circumstances. Now, there are certain obligations of target, there are certain obligations of acquirer. Target company, the one which I am acquiring. What are the obligations? Say, for example, once you say, I will acquire your company, then what happens? Generally, after saying this, if I am acquiring your share, I am acquiring your shares, what happens is that people start alienating the property. People start selling means borrowing because they know the company is going out of my hand. So they will sell out the assets. They will do this. They will they will take some borrowing. They will increase the borrowings. They will make the payment to anybody. They may allot some shares to their internal people. So all these things should not happen during the open period without the approval of the shareholders. These things should not happen. Now, sir, why withdraw approval of shareholder is required, given a permission? If you are doing with this approval of shareholder, then it is in the common public. Public will come to know okay, what you are doing. They will not allow you. But otherwise, you may alienate the property. Escrow account, as I told you, escrow account is an account where you need to keep money. Like say, for example, I am making an open offer. I need to give security to SEBI, saying that boss, I will take care of the money. I have a money. So that is opened in a separate bank account and kept in a separate bank account. Say if the issue size, like I need to determine the calculation of money. Say I'm acquiring 20 lakh shares and I need to pay 600 crore. So for that 600 crore, for the first 500, 25%, and for the next 100 crore, 10%. I need to deposit in a separate bank account, saying that don't worry, I have a money. It's a comfort. Like आप चलते चलते रास्ते में एक weird example. आप चलते चलते can you bid for Taj Mahal? No, you need to show the money first. Otherwise, already every people can see कि देखो तो ये sell होता है कि Howrah Bridge, I will acquire it. So first, before thinking like this, you need to show that you have a money. So that is what the SEBI says. If you have a money, deposit in escrow account. We should understand, and then we will do it. So obligation of the target we have done. Obligation of the acquirer. Acquirer obligation is that they should not alienate the assets of the property immediately after they acquire for a period of 2 years. Why 2 years? Because acquirer has acquired the company for the business, for making the business, and not for alienating the assets. Because in many circumstances, what happens? I will acquire the company. पता चला company के पास lot of assets are there like plant and machinery, land. Immediately after acquiring, just to generate revenue, I have sold the assets. I have sold the land. So these are not permitted under the obligations of the acquirer. So they apply obligations is on both the sides, acquirer as well as the target. That has to be taken. Now, second, as I was telling you, some disclosures are required. Now, just see the disclosure page. As I told you, कि एकदम very beginning में याद करिए, when we started, sometimes maybe 30-35 minutes back, that when you will acquire 5% or more, then you need to inform stock exchange Acquirer, if acquiring 5% or more, inform stock exchange and a target company. Within 2 working days, you need to intimate. I told you because this is the mechanism to keep a check. 29.2 is saying that once you acquired 5%, then every 2%, if there is a change of 2%, then you should inform within 2 working days. Hence, after acquiring 5%, you shouldn't acquire more than 2% at any point of time. And it is a change, it is not acquired, change. Say, for example, after 5%, I have acquired 1% and sold 2%. So it can be changed, means it positive, negative, everything. Even if, say, from 5%, I have gone down to 1%, it is more than 2%. I need to inform the stock exchange. That is a disclosure under 29. Similarly, continual disclosure, these are the initial. Continual disclosure is every year annually. The SEBI says of every person whosoever is holding 25% or more of a company should inform the stock exchange within 7 working days that this is my holding. So that SEBI will be aware, the stock exchange will be aware, these are the company or these are the person who are holding 25% or more of the company. This you will understand who are the controller, who is controlling. Similarly, every promoter. See the difference between these two initial. Every person should have 25% or more. Means if I do not have 25% or more, I am not required to inform under continual. But promoter irrespective, again write it, promoter irrespective of their holding. Means if a promoter is holding 1%, he needs to inform every year within 7 working days from the end of 31st March that this is my holding. Similarly, on those shares, if you pledge, create a pledge because promoters sometimes borrow the share, borrow the money by pledging the shares. If they borrow the money by pledging the shares, they need to inform that they have pledged the shares. Any promoter or PSC creating pledge shall inform within 7 working days that this is the pledge they have created. Similarly, when this pledge is released, they should also be informed within 7 days from the creation of invocation. या तो invoke हो गया वो या फिर release हुआ वो. That means indirectly, if you look at this, SEBI controlled everything: acquisition, continual basis yearly disclosure, or pledge also if you create a pledge on the shares. So all these things are taken care of. There are certain exemptions also. There are certain exemptions the SEBI gives from takeover. Regulation 10 and 11. 11 is by SEBI and 10 is sometimes automatic, means self. You don't need to apply the takeover. When you do not need to apply the takeover, you should know common examples. Say, for example, if there is a transfer of shares, inter-se transfer of shares between immediate relatives. Say, for example, I am giving to my immediate relative. I am holding 30%. I am giving to my relative 30%. Now you will say, sir, takeover trigger because 25% of. I will say, boss, my relative is as good as I am holding. So it is not required. Similarly, if it is between the promoter, like I am a promoter, my brother is a promoter. I am holding 30%. I am saying, I will not hold 30%. I will hold 5%. I will give 25% to my. So you look at the scenario. Again, as a promoter, we will have a total 30%. 5% mine, 25% mine is 30. Earlier, I was having only 30. So the situation remains changed. Why there is open offer? Open offer is not. Similarly, there is a transfer between company subsidiary. It's a subsidiary of that company only, and the control is same. Then again, the takeover code is not triggered. Similarly, some acquisition, say for example, is pursuant to the scheme of amalgamation, scheme of arrangement, or maybe under the, in some cases, CIR. Say for example, the two companies are getting merged into each other. Or one of the company, not two companies can merge into each other. One company will merge into a company X. So X company will issue the shares. So the moment X company issue the shares to the shareholders of other company, there might be a condition that the holding of that shareholder will increase. So you will say कि sir उसकी 25% से ज़्यादा increase हो रही है, तो open offer करना पड़ेगा. If it is a pursuant to the scheme of arrangement etc., it will not be required. One more interesting exemption is there. You say, for example, there is a acquisition pursuant to a resolution plan under the IBC. You all know IBC code? अगर नहीं जानते हो तो IBC code छोटे में जान लो बस. IBC code is a insolvency and bankruptcy code which says, say if a company is not able to repay its money or debt, then the company needs to frame a called resolution plan as approved by the NCLT. And NCLT will say, because you can't give the money, you give the shares to those people. So when the shares are issued under the resolution plan, then also takeover code will not apply. So these are the exemptions you should understood or you should learn. Certain exemptions are there where SEBI say on an application, say for example, you are making some offer where exemption is sought, like by way of preferential allotment. Say you are giving to a particular kind of a category of person. Preferential allotment, we all know. Preferential allotment means allot to a certain kind of a person or certain category. So when you are making allotment at a preferential category, you may write to SEBI and you will seek exemption, stating all the reasons. And SEBI is convinced, SEBI will take your exemption and will give you a letter that exemption is being provided for the takeover. But provided interest of the shareholder is not prejudice. So these are like takeover code in short about the takeover. So here we come to the takeover. Now with the takeover, you will find more so related is the insider. Insider में जाने के पहले takeover में I understood it is like थोड़ा heavy हो जाता है. Look, people after reading takeover feel like ये थोड़ा headache type का हो गया sir. I know that you see people started and वैसे भी it's a Sunday. So like, before that I will take you to the sweat equity बोल के एक chapter है. You have a called chapter called sweat equity. It is very simple. I will take you very lightly. Don't worry. Sweat equity बोल के if you can help me out with the page number. I am there on the line only. Yes, yes, I know, I know. I'm breaking only. Don't. Do you want to go offline and then come back? What do you the break means? I thought the break is in lighter sense, just relaxing. Okay, good idea. I will send this PDF, the entire market PDF. See, straight equity shares. Let's. Okay. Any more suggestions? People are free to give suggestions. Anji, you give me suggestions. Yes, tell me. I'll just look. Have a look. Please repeat it. I said any suggestion you can give me. Yes, you can make the chart. Like because the chart will help you in giving more and more. You can pictorial like demo more than theoretical with the pictorial. You can make them understand with the pictorial demo. Chart is always a welcome move, but then it should be like very proper way in a proper way so that people will be benefited at large. I can sure good idea from the 934256550. Then break is over. Start now. These straight equity shares, I will just tell you, I will not take you the chapter. Here I will complete a chapter on my vocal only. That straight equity shares basically are more or less like these. अगर आप देखो, you will find it always that straight equity shares and ESOPs are more or less sounding same. The only difference here I will tell you what exactly the difference between the sweat equity and ESOP is. Sweat equity is issued on the basis of know-how or the intellectual property right. Say for example, if the person with whom I think the person is having a good, say for example, knowledge or technical insight, on the valuations of that, I will issue the state equity shares which are sure. Somebody is asking me. Be yes, sure, not an issue. You can. We know, yeah, Yashwanti, you don't need a break. Yeah, she'll be sure. Any queries, I will definitely answer. And SSZ, go chat, PDF, etc. for better understanding. I'll definitely, at the end, can you allow me to answer this? At the end, I will take up. So, sweat equity, I was saying you, sweat equity is issued for the know how or for the, you can say, intellectual property rights. So, sir, what is the difference between ESOP and ESOP is more or less like that? No, ESOP is you are giving at a consideration to all the employees, irrespective of their know-how or IPR rights. Yes, sir, you are right. We give ESOP to all the employees and state equity for those person who can like have a evaluation to know-how and technical insight. So then next question comes, what is another difference? Another difference is that ESOP you cannot issue to the promoter, whereas sweat equity can be given to the promoter as well. Okay, that is the second difference. Yes. And third difference is that sweat equity needs authorization, special authorization under the law. And whenever you are promoting, issuing it to the promoter, different regulations for the different is required to be passed. Means, say for example, in short, I mean to say, I am issuing to the promoter A, I need a resolution. Promoter B, I need a resolution. All this needs to be specified or elaborated more in the resolution itself. For the equity shares under the SEBI, only the listed company will follow the SEBI regulation. Otherwise, unlisted company will follow the Companies Act, state equity provisions. Only the listed company will follow the state equity regulations under the SEBI. So when you issue under the SEBI, you will follow the state equity regulation where you need to pass the resolution and mention separately for each promoter. That is under the SEBI. State equity under the SEBI guidelines also requires appointment of merchant banker, appointment of valuer. Why all this? Because merchant banker and valuer will give a certificate that whether the know-how or the intellectual property right for which the sweat equity shares will be granted, whether that is properly valued or not, they will give the certificate for that. So on issuance of that certificate, you can go for the sweat equity share. And in fact, every year at your general meeting, a certificate from the auditors will be placed that your sweat equity shares is in compliance with these provisions. So that is in short, like sweat equity shares, nothing much. This is in short about the sweat equity shares. And the difference you understood that the only thing is that it confuses at times with the ESOP. But today I'm sure with these examples, we will now be able to understand the difference between sweat equity and the ESOP. Correct? Now we will make a move to the prohibition of insider trading regulation. Now I think those who were in the break, they are back. Correct? So can we proceed? Or do you need again some lighter refreshment or some lighter relaxation? That is a different chapter, Soumya. We will tomorrow we will do this. ESPS or ESOP. We can proceed. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. So now I'm moving ahead. Prohibition of insider trading. See, with the takeover, you will be related to insider as well. Again, before inside going into the insider trading, next 5 minutes, please listen me carefully, and then next 15 minutes you will understand how it is happening. Why insider trading? Because one reason being, the one main reason being for insider trading regulation is very clear. If you recollect, yesterday also we were discussing one more thing that, say for example, I'm officer of the company. What I've done as an officer, say I am doing like as officer, I'm aware that my company is doing some merger, my company is doing to acquire something. Like you must be knowing some big news are happening. Like say for example, some other companies are investing in the Geo platform. So far, Geo is becoming an investing hub. So if I'm officer of a company and I'm aware that what my company is doing, what my company is going to do, maybe in the next 6 months, my company is going to acquire this company. So what I will do, I will purchase some shares today. And after purchasing some shares today, I'll keep it in my account. After 6 months, I will, when this news will be there in the market that my company is acquiring this big company, my share price will jump. My share price, say I have acquired shares at rupees 100. After hearing this news, share price jumps from 100 to 150. Now I have sold my shares at 150. Don't you think that I have made a profit of 50 rupees per shares? Like 100 I purchased, 150 I sold. Sir, share trading is your job. So like, अगर आपने किया तो पूरा किया. I'm not done anything crime. But then I'm telling you the practical thing. Don't you think because of some information which was not available to the public, I made some profit? I have done something wrong. I have not informed the public. I have taken benefit of that news. Similarly, say for example, my company's result is going to be out, and I know that company is giving a huge profit, and market will be so positive and price will jump. I have purchased some shares today, and I'm going to sell soon. I'll make a profit. These things are prohibited under the insider trading. Hence, no insider. Insider means the one who is connected person. Who is connected person? All the KLP, all the officers who have secure. See means unpublished price sensitive information. That means if I'm having any information which is price sensitive, then I cannot trade in the securities. So is it like that? Yes, I cannot trade in the securities of only my company. We try to understand. People always think, like, you cannot do any trading. I can do the trading in other company, but not my company because I am insider of this company. Is it clear? I am insider of my company, so I'm barred from doing any trading from the into the securities of my company. That is why this prohibition of insider trading has been drawn out or has been planned out that there should be prohibition of insider trading. It helps in keeping the market stable. Second thing, he was realizing one fact, unless or until you do not have some internal mechanism, the entire purpose of insider trading will be defeated. Say, for example, like results. You will say, "Theek hai, sir, results." If you are aware of the results, then it is a prohibition of insider trading. But if you are not aware of the results, then it is not a prohibition of insider. SEBI has drawn out a plan. Like from every end of a quarter, like say March quarter has ended. So SEBI say from March quarter end, the immediate 31st March ended. From 1st April, there will be a closure of window and it will open only after 48 hours of the result. That means, say for example, I am disclosing result tomorrow. So 48 hours after tomorrow, the window will open. So in between, the window will remain extremely closed. Closed for whom? Closed for insiders. Means companies, topmost people who have information relating to the securities cannot deal into the shares of a company. So this is some kind of a setup taken by the company, setup by the SEBI. Second setup taken by the SEBI is that informal mechanism. Now SEBI has come up with a new initiative. SEBI says, say for example, if you have some information that something is wrong going on, some insider trading is happening, then SEBI says you inform the person or you inform the company that insider trading is going on. Company can take initiative. But if company is that you do not want to inform the company or you have not informed the company, you can directly inform the SEBI that some insider trading is happening. And if SEBI on investigation finds, yes, there happened some insider trading, then SEBI will take immediate action. SEBI will suspend the person, and not only that, SEBI will give that person who complained a reward, that money. Okay, you take some money because you have informed and you kept the market happy. So insider is being connected again, as the name suggests. Insider doesn't mean ki company employee. Insider can be outsider. So don't go by the. I always say the English meaning of insider means the one who is inside. But my SEBI meaning is that even the outsider can be insider. Say for example, I'm dealing with some lawyer, and I've asked the lawyer to advise me on a particular transaction. Say I'm going to acquire this company. I'm asking the lawyer, please advise me that how I will acquire and what are the processes are there. The lawyer is not aware of the information. He knows everything. So my lawyer may deal into the securities of the company. In that case, even the lawyer will be considered as an insider. For SEBI purpose, outsiders are inside. Okay. Now we will go to the details of what exactly it is. Now, with this introduction, you will be very easy. You'll find it very easy to cover. Like first, our compliance officers, who plays a major role in entire insider trading. Any senior officer, or say for example, if not like company secretary, anybody else can be designated as a compliance officer for the timing for the purpose of monitoring the insider trading mechanism. He will monitor the execution, implementation of the trade, etc. And he will take care of that. Will be designated as a compliance officer. Now, next comes who can be the connected person. Why we need to connect a person? Because then insider trading will be more careful. Connected person means one who is connected with any information. Information means the information which is not information which is kind of a secret, which we call OPC, unpublished license agreement. Even those person will be considered as a connected who were associated with the company in the last 6 months. Means say for example, a person who has left the job of the company, but he was associated in the last 6 months with the company, and if he also executes some kind of a transaction, then also he will be. But then again, I'm telling you one point should be written. Merely entering transaction doesn't mean insider. Entering transaction. Now what I'm saying is important. Entering transaction on the basis of unpublished price information. On the basis of unpublished price information is called insider trading. On the basis of unpublished price sensitive information is called insider trading. So this is what the mechanism. So you should know connected person. Any person who with 6 months also associated with the company, maybe by reason of communication with the officers, by being in contractual relationship like lawyer, etc., by being a director officer of a company means connected person, and even the connected person can be by way of frequent communication. Say for example, you are outsider, but you always deal with, then you will be considered as a connected person. In fact, in many cases, you will be surprised. SEBI held that even the common friendship or mutual friendship in the Facebook can be tantamount as a connected person. Means you are knowing each other. So there is a very much, like you can say, the connected person definition is very much complicated. Now you will get an idea insider. Insider means a connected person or who is in the possession of. So if connected person is there, they are included as a. But if they are having, if someone who is not a connected person also, but having some OPC, they also will be considered as an insider. So SEBI के लिए वैसा है कि sometimes outsiders are always inside. Immediate relative whenever we discuss this chapter, it means spouse of her. That means spouse for sure is immediate related. Means you can't say husband wife, they are not related immediately. And it can include parents, sibling, and child who is finally financially dependent on the person. Means if you can say my sibling, my child is not financially dependent, then you can take an excuse of that. But the spouse has to be considered as a immediate relative. When we talk about trading even means agreeing to buy something or sell something. It's not necessary you execute a trade. Say, for example, even if you have entered into an agreement on the basis of unpublished price sensitive information, it can be trading. Because you will say, these are trading to any insider trading. It is only agreement. Agreeing to something to buy or sell is also a trade. Now, what is UPSI finally? As you were saying, son, UPSI is like information which is not available in the public. And if it is made available in the public, it will impact the share price. That is called. What can be the UPSI? UPSI examples are there. Like financial result. Agree karna is a trading. Like say for example, if I agree that I will purchase shares or I will given some execution of agreement that I will enter into an agreement to buy or sell, it can be a trading. So it can be like financial result, dividend, capital structure change, merger, demerger, KMP appointment. All these are called unpublished price sensitive information. Because once you get to know that results is coming out, once you get to know dividend is coming out, a huge dividend is there, then these are called because when you got to know more dividend is coming out, obviously the share price will jump and you will have an unsensitive price information. Now, what the SEBI regulation says? SEBI is not only the bar trading, earlier the SEBI prohibition of insider trading was 1992. Now it has been amended and now the regulations are more stringent. They even not only bar trading, they also bar further communication, the increment, communications, procurement of unpublished price sensitive information. Like say for example, not only trading, if say I am just communicating कि मेरे friend को कि boss ये होने वाला है, like say I'm just saying out of my sense कि boss my company is going to acquire this company, my company is going to invest in this, my company is coming out with the dividend, my company is coming out with this merger plan. Even communicating that information can be an offense under these. So no communication and no procurement as well means even you cannot procure. Say for example, you will say कि sir communication बना है, but see if I am asking somebody to share some information, is it also a crime? Yes, asking is also a crime. Means communication and procurement both crime. But we cannot communicate in any case. You can only communicate for legitimate purpose. What is legitimate? Legitimate purpose means, say for example, where like I'm asking my lawyer to make a scheme. I'm asking my lawyer that I'm going to acquire this company. I'm asking my valuer to value this company because I am going to acquire. So this kind of a thing. Under this situation, I need to communicate them, and these are called legitimate purpose. Beside legitimate purpose, you cannot communicate, cannot procure. Next, they say is regulation for no trading at all. Earlier, there was no communication, no procurement. Now, no trading. Again, no trading means no trading when you are aware of the information. Otherwise, you can carry out. See, if you are not aware of C, then you are free. But if you are not aware of any C, then you cannot execute the transaction. Sorry, I said the wrong way. If you are not aware of any UPSI, you can execute. But if you are aware of UPSI, then there is some unpublished price sensitive information, you can. If you trade, there is a penal provision. So, sir, say for example, a small query is coming to my mind, like, can I exercise ESOPs? ESOP can be exercised during the trade, during the period when price sensitive information is there, because ESOPs are shares which are given to you by the management at a considerable price, and you are just exercising ESOPs. It is not like that you are doing from the market. It is within the company you have paid some money and the shares are allotted. So these are not considered as a part of trading for this purpose regulation. Now, next question, when I talk about trading, somebody told me, sir, you are saying not to communicate, not to trade when you are having oops. Say, sir, you are the CEO of a company, chief executive officer of a company. You will be aware of the oops. You will be aware of the material information throughout the year. Means throughout every day of a year, I will be aware of something, that something is going to. Sir, how you will trade in such case? You can do trading in one way. How? You give a trading plan. You should give a trading plan starting from the 6th month of your submission. Means I will give this plan today and it will start from expiry of 6 months from today. Sir, what is trading plan? पहले वो बताओ ना. Trading plan is a plan where I will say, because say for example, in the 2021, 2021, in the month of March, I will acquire 10,000. In the month of 2021, in the month of May, I will sell 10,000 shares. So something I am giving future means the law says you can't be so sure about the future market price as of now. So if you are declaring something that I will do some trade in future, and so that you can go give, and then on the basis of such trading plan, you can trade in the shares. That's not a problem. But you can't trade as of today. If your disclosure under trading plan, if you are aware of this information throughout the year, because otherwise you will say, कि सर हम तो CEO हो गए तो प्रॉब्लम हो गया, हम तो अपने मार्केट अपनी कंपनी के शेयर्स में ही ट्रेड नहीं कर पाते हैं. तो you give the trading plan. Only the very thing is that trading plan में, and that why not trading plan is a hit concept. People are not adopting this trading plan concept only for one reason, because once you submit under the trading plan, what will happen is you have to trade under the trading plan, irrespective of anything. Means once you have disclosed it, then you have to trade. Say for example, I said, okay, in the coming March, I will acquire some shares. Now in the March, I may have not the money. What I will do? I have to purchase the shares. That is the biggest problem. It says that once you declare a trading plan, you cannot ignore. Okay, so this is trading plan. Now somebody said again example of OPSI. We have just discussed the example of OPSI like financial result, dividend, change in QP. They all are example of OPSI. So now, what are the disclosure? How they monitor it? Even like SAST, if you remember, takeover me. The act, the regulation was saying that whenever you acquire some shares, you make a disclosure. There, the disclosure, remember it, how you will differentiate. Takeover means the regulation, the disclosure will be made by the acquirer or the promoter. To who? To the stock exchange or to the company? Here, only to the company. That disclosure, let's see. Initial and continual, like takeover. Initial disclosure will be by promoter or promoter group or KMP. Within 7 days of becoming that KMP. Okay, this is what within 7 days. Don't read within 30 days, because this 30 days only when this regulation was coming into the picture. Now the regulation is already into the picture. So now 7 days is only time. So the moment, say for example, I become a KMP, full-time director of a company. Within 7 days, I need to disclose that this is my holding list. Because company will keep a check whether the person is actually following the code or not, or actually following the insider trading mechanism of a company. Thereafter, whenever any promoter or promoter group or any designated person of a company trade, and the trading quantity is the amount wise, not rupees wise. Amount wise is 10 lakh in a quarter. Okay, 10 lakh in a quarter. Say it's a trading means buying, selling anything. Say I have done trading for 4 lakh in a quarter, then not required. I have done 3 lakh in January, 3 lakh in February, 3 lakh in March, 9 lakh, not required. I have done 4 lakh in January, 4 lakh in February, 4 lakh in March. That means 444 plus. So the moment I cross 10 lakh limit, I need to make a disclosure within 2 trading days. Here, 2 trading days, they are only working. It's more or less same. Trading days means when the window is open for trading, and working days means when the SEBI is open. So within 2 working days or trading days, you need to inform to the company that I have acquired these many shares or I have sold these many shares. Now, it is up to the company. The company will further take 2 days to inform the stock exchange. So here the flow will go like from you to company to stock. There in this takeover, just recollect. Then in the takeover, you are making a disclosure to the company, to the stock exchange. But here, you are only saying to the company. Company will inform the stock. Okay. So here is like Tata thing. Just remember it in the day continual disclosure. Now, as I was telling you, there is another concept of informant. You become a SEBI ka watchdog. You inform the SEBI something is going wrong, some insider trading is happening, and you will submit this information to a voluntary information disclosure form (VIDF). Sir, these information, if I am submitting, then what will be the benefit? You will be rewarded. You will qualify for a reward. Sir, then so everybody will inform. No. See, there is a primary condition. It should be original information. Means whatever information you are giving to the SEBI should be original. Means you should have find out from your own. It should not be like, say, for example, Kalko, you just came to know that CPI is inquiring into the company in a matter, and you have passed this information. That CBI is inquiring in this person. So these are like passing on the information. SEBI said you should have independent knowledge of the information. You should know that something is going wrong. Say maybe example, you are an officer of a company. Now you are with the 10 of officers, other officers, you are friend. From that only you know if this friend is not going good, this is going bad. So from that, this kind of information, you will be able to inform the SEBI that this is the information I have derived. Now next question comes, after getting this information, will SEBI make it public? See again, it is up to the SEBI to make it public or not. SEBI may choose to make it public, SEBI may choose not. But if it is required by any legal pursuit, then it will be made public. And you also have a right to make the information available to the SEBI through legal representative. See, you can give it the information through legal representative. Now, when you are giving the information through legal representative, then the legal representative give a declaration that I know the informant and I know the identity, I am aware of his detail. He should give a declaration, this kind of a declaration. And one more thing, despite giving information through legal representative, the SEBI may ask the person to appear in physical before the SEBI. Once SEBI receives the information, they will the seat officer will perform the following function: receive the information, making necessary communication with the informant, maintaining a hotline so that the informant can inform, interacting with the informant incentive committee, those who will award the relay. Once the awards are released, they will issue the press release, etc. And they will submit the annual report. This is the duty of a office of information protection, those who will look after the office. So this is the mechanism. Yeah, because see, new this part is not there, so it is. Yes, yes, it is very much relevant. This has recently come, so that is why it has been included. It has been included in the updated material. So it becomes very much relevant. Means relevant for you. Now next comes the CB. If things fail, they will grant a reward. The reward amount of reward they have fixed it that it will be upon collection. The CB may declare the rewards. And in some cases, the SEBI may give a reward as an interim. Say, for example, before the investigation complete, SEBI will say, okay, the information is like very strong. So they can give the interim reward, but interim reward cannot exceed 10 lakhs. And total amount of reward that can be given under this scheme is 1 crore. Now you people will be feeling happy. Sir, ये तो बहुत बढ़िया है. One should sir किसी ने insider trading को reward दे रहे हैं. Yashwanti, you are getting confused. This is not the reward is not for one who is doing insider trading. Reward is for the one who is reporting insider trading. Say, I as officer know that somebody in an office has done insider trading, and I am reporting that in a form, voluntary information disclosure form, VIDF, that this person has done something wrong, and I'm sure SEBI on the basis of that information will investigate it. And if SEBI found that investigation is right, that person has done some mischievous activity or trading, then the person, the SEBI will give a reward to the informant. जैसे हम लोग नॉर्मल डे टू डे में सुनते हैं कि जो भी ये बताता है पुलिस बोलता है जो बताएगा उसको ये नाम दिया जाएगा. I'm just going to that particular example. That police, you will notice they always announce if you make us help in arresting this person, we will reward you. So that is what they are saying. If you are helping us in informing that who is doing insider trading, we will reward you. They have kept amount of reward also, but it's with a condition. The information should be original. Otherwise, people will misuse it. Like today, also after reading, many of you will think, "Yeah, ये तो बस बहुत बढ़िया है." We will use the informant award mechanism. SEBI doesn't allow this informant award mechanism for everyone. What they say, you should come out with a concrete evidence. Otherwise, people do come and just inform. He was you. SEBI says merely informing will not help. You should come out with a proper evidence. The information should be derived from your own sources. It should not be like कि आप किसी company में सुन the information and you passed out. You should have known from your own facts. You should have your own doubt, and the basis which you have informed, then SEBI will reward you. And if these are not the original information, or you have compiled the information, or you have done something like passing on the information of past, then SEBI will not claim the means will not honor your claim. They will reject it. Confidentiality, I already told you that only if it is not required by the law, SEBI will keep the entire name and everything will be confidential. It is also mandated that since the company will be aware of the person's name, maybe say for example, one employee of a company informed the SEBI about the other company. What will happen? If other employee is influencing, then the company will fire this employee, the one who has informed. So SEBI has a regulation saying that the company should have a code where they should give a declaration that any person who is giving information under this code will be free from retaliation, means revenge measure. This company will not fire that person because it does happen. Once the company comes to know कि ये बंदा जाके उसको inform किया, the one employee has informed the other, then they fire this. In that case, SEBI is very particular. SEBI has made it categorically that if that is the case, the SEBI will not take any act, means the company will not take any action against the person who is informed. Where it will be written? It will be written in the code of fair disclosure and conduct. The SEBI has also mandated the listed company to have a code. Code will guide you internally. One is a fair disclosure. Why fair disclosure code? Because as I told you, if you do not make disclosure properly, then many information will become your public information, means private information. Because say for example, if you are not disclosing it properly to the stock exchange immediately, say something big event happen, you did not inform the stock exchange. If you do not inform, then later on what will happen? SEBI will be totally out of it. We will feel means the stock exchange will not have any idea, and the market investor will not be able to trade properly. Then insider people take benefit. So SEBI says have a code for fair disclosure. Means who will disclose? What is your disclosure policy when you will be making disclosure? So all this will be covered under the code of fair disclosure. Then there is a code of conduct. Code of conduct says, say for example, you have not done any trading, you will confirm, you will abide by the code of conduct. Like we all say now, we should have a set of ethical principles. We always say that we should maintain normal etiquettes. So similarly, these are the etiquettes that the person should have abide by. Like I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't take bribe, I shouldn't accept any gift, I should do this. When I come across a public sensitive information, I should inform the other. These are all are covered under the code of conduct. Beside the code of fair disclosure, that's what SEBI prescribed is the minimum set of code of conduct. Like please maintain it under the schedule which has been given by the SEBI. They are the minimum standard. Beside this, you can have more restricted. In short, SEBI prescribed is a minimum set of coding. You can have more than that. Like say for example, SEBI says you shouldn't trade in the securities for more than 5 lakh. It can be because the law bars you from 10. The CBC will say, sorry, the code will say even if you trade more than 5 lakh, you should inform the company first so that the company can have a strict. The minimum set of code of conduct. There's a one query relating to there is a institutional mechanism also. This also you please read it. How does this institutional mechanism help you? I'm telling you. The SEBI says you should have a digital database. Means, say for example, in my company, I need to have a database of all the employees, their PAN number, their degree, from there they have passed out, their DPID. DPID is a demand client ID, means of their account, depository account. From there they will be doing trading. What I will do, I will keep in my record. Why to keep in record? Because I will share with my registrar and I will say my registrar, if whenever these persons make any trading in these securities, do inform me. I will ask for the benefits of those on every weekly basis so that there is no insider trading at all. So these are the institutional mechanism taken by the SEBI, and SEBI says for every company to follow it particularly. They have also ensured that the listed company, in the case of listed company, the board of directors should take all necessary measures to ensure that these are prevailing. In fact, the audit committee also has a role to ensure that the insider trading mechanism is operating adequately and effectively. Why? Under that this SEBI insider, the penalty is too harsh. Even if you look at the penalty provision, it says if any insider who either is on behalf or on behalf of others deal in the securities of a company, he shall be liable to a penalty of minimum 10 lakh and just see the maximum can go to the 25 crore or twice the amount of profit. Say, for example, if the person has made a profit of 10 crore, he will have to pay 20 crores. This is the stringent property under the takeover, under the insider trading regulation. The remaining penalty provision you can say. Again, here, if you are not happy with the SEBI decision, say for example, SEBI has fired you with a penalty, go to the SAT. If you are not happy with the SAT, you will go to the court. Now, there is one query I will take it from Yashwanti. Sir, A know that B is in insider trading, but B know that A saw him to giving insider information to C, giving information to C. Sir, any बाई को written information सेबी के पास वाई के थ्रू भेजा तो रिवॉर्ड किसको मिलेगा, ए को गए या वाई को? सी अगेन, this is again a kind of a confusion process. Like when why on the SEBI will give the one who is informing. SEBI is not going to check कि आपने A से लिया कि किससे लेके दिया. But now अगर Y has a intention, a fraudulent intention, you know that if SEBI comes across कि Y और A ऐसा मिलके किए हैं कि A को मिला Y को पास ऑन कर दिया, तो SEBI will reject the claim. If they do act wisely कि पता नहीं चले SEBI को, तो Y will get a reward and whatever portion you will think कि A को देना है तो A को देगा. But this is quite a weird, मतलब आप पूरा deep तक जाके आप पूरा पूछ के निकाल. I hope it is clear. Yes. In short, this is all about the insider trading mechanism where we need to talk about okay, how is the insider trading help curving in the market. Why it is not clear? Where is the confusion? You can write it down. You can tell me the confusion where exactly. You are saying that A is aware of the information that B is doing. He passed on the information to somebody else, and Y has informed the SEBI. So claim किसको मिलेगा? It's a very clear. How can SEBI will give a claim to A? जब Y complain कर रहा है, तो SEBI को कैसे पता चला? A ने अपॉइंट किया क्या? I'm not getting इसमें अपॉइंट की क्या बात हुई है? अपॉइंट कोई नहीं करता इसमें, जस्ट इन्फॉर्म करता है. Y अगर उसका लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है तो ऑब्वियसली A को मिलेगा. But if it is a normal natural person, I am not getting it. Let's be very practical. Maybe your query is too complex, or I'm not getting it. In simple, I will say, if he has the pass on the information through legal representative, then legal representative will, in that case, legal representative will not be able to claim the reward, because obviously, if I am saying lawyer जब हमारा केस जीतता है तो lawyer जीतता है क्या? The amount comes to me only. If my legal representative won the case, the reward will come to me only. But if I am passing on the information to somebody else, भैया हम तो complain नहीं करेंगे, you do, and that person is doing the complaint, obviously that person will claim. That's clear. Nothing like no complexity here. And there is a one mercury that why this cannot be done by the ombudsman. See again, there are certain things. That is why it is called informant mechanism. Means you keep it means public. It has to be very confidential. Things has to be move on very slowly, and that is why the reason is that it has to be kept confidential and a separate body information mechanism की पूरी complete एक total separate committee है. Informative incentive committee. They keep everything confidential, and that's why there is a no role of ombudsman here, because it is like a query dealing within the rule. I hope this is clear to you, Shruti. With this, we complete the insider trading as well today, and tomorrow we will take up the ESOP, the share-based employee benefits, and the buyback. I will request all of you to please apprise yourself through the buyback and the share-based employee benefit. See, I will say CB part I will make it clear, but then prior to that, you should make it clear your own that part, your buyback part and your is employee was share benefit part, so that you will be able to achieve, you will be able to get the idea and more clarity on the scene. So that we will cover again along with in the last. So when we are having the last class for this crash course, the last half an hour, 20 minutes, I'll keep for the question answer. Please come with as many questions as you want related to the exam, how you should perform exam. Yeah, that is what yesterday I told me. Tomorrow we will take the ESOP and the buyback and the delisting. I forgot to mention about the delisting. So these three I will take up, and then the last 20 minutes I will reserve for the question answer block, where you can raise a question whenever you feel like. There is a one more question between paying for the Soumya. The unpublished information is not a any such big information which needs to fit the company. Price need a lot of time and planning. I know this is going to be the price and I took the shares then. See, If you, that is again means ria. If you have this already mindset that if something wrong has happened, then I means nobody can help you. Means if you have done with their bad intention, then whether your price is going to be affected or not. But if it is an unpublished price sensitive information, you are going to be caught under the insider trading. You should stay away from taking the shares in such cases where you know information. You cannot qualify information as a big or small. But if it is a material, you should stay away from it. See, rates again, it's a real estate investment trust, and the InvIT is the again infrastructure investment trust. So these are like both are. If you want the I couldn't get you. You want the idea, or you want the difference. I will give you tomorrow the idea if you want. Like I can give you the entire detail. What is the difference between RIIT or what is the difference in that InvIT? More or less, InvIT is towards the infrastructure activity, while RIIT facilitates investments into the investment of real estate. Here, what you do, you buy or sell the units rather than property. See, what happens, जिनका real estate में investment आता है, they think of buying the properties. Here, rates में you buy the units and they, after buying the unit, these are the governed by the REIT regulation 2014, which offers a proper registration. And when you make a return, good return on the real estate market, you will be benefited with a good return here. Whereas the InvIT is that where you invest money more or less like that of a mutual fund. You are here investing in a mutual fund, but here they are more opened up like mutual fund diversified sector. Here they are more opened up in the infrastructure sector. That is what the InvIT is. REIT, the further units can be segregated into the equity or mortgage unit. Like equity is just like share kind of a unit. Mortgage is where the units are there. It can be mortgage against particular property. Sorry, yes. Somebody reminded me. Tomorrow we'll take the SL&CM chapter paper as a whole. Somebody reminded me that at the last custodian depository again, yeah. Custodian is like, first of all, try to understand. अगर एक लेमन ऐसे शेयर में ट्रेडिंग करूँ, there is a like NSD, National Securities Market, and Central Depository Services. They are keeping the shares of every company in their custody. Like be it Reliance, be it like Natural, be it like ITC, be it like Mami, be it like any other company. Maruti, Honda City, that Mahindra, they will keep the shares of all this company in their custody. NSD and CDSL, these are custody. Now, what they will do, this is keeping in the custodians, like acting as a custody, safety. Depository participants are these small the units with whom we open account. Like we open the account with India Bulls, Sher Khan, Motilal Oswal. What they do, we ask our India Bulls, boss, I need to purchase 500 shares of Reliance. What they do, they will purchase the 500 shares of Reliance. But these 500 shares, the shares which come into my account will have to be seen whether actually these shares were, like say for example, somebody has sold the shares in the market. So custody will get the information there. In like depository, like NSDL CDC will get the information that 500 shares have come in. So they will inform yes, 500 shares is there. Then they will give these 500 shares back to the prison. So my DB will check with the custodian. Sir, please inform me 500 shares है क्या? Custodian will say yes, 500 shares है ले लो. Again, DB is just doing a trading, but custodian is telling me whether these shares are available or not. Say for example, I have ordered for the 500 shares, but if nobody has sold, how I'll get? So custodian will say no, there is no class. There is the major difference with the custodian. Custodian keeping a total account, whereas this policy participants, they are acting today in phase wise. As and when you instruct or as and when you trade. So I think now your doubt is clear. And thank you. I tried today कि आज मेरे को zoom अच्छा लगता है. Actually, yes, sure, we will share. Actually, because of the Kolkata being affected with the Umphun, we were having a network facility as a network turbulences. Any more query for the days or just a query? Yes, Soumya, I think you raised this query. So your doubt is clear? Yeah, chale. Now I am happy to. Yes, but sir, kya gaya? Yes, one request, please go ahead. Please share your notes. I will definitely. I know that you people are saying, I don't know whether protocol wise I am allowed to share my details or not. I don't know. It's just like Dynet 306 99356. Not 99306, I said. 99356. People calling it 99356. I know I don't know protocol wise, but then it's a limiting to the query. I feel happy. Yes. So as a query measure or for your address, I'm just trying my best. And for the institute, it's my privilege to help the students and to keep them motivated so that they all perform well and keep our institute name at top level. That's what my intention. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I will definitely share these case study question. Sure, I will share. Thanks everyone. Thank you so much. So I leave with your permission. Somebody is already posted in your group number. So you can see from there. Somebody has raised and I couldn't understand कि वो बीच में observe raise करते तो मैं confused हो जाता. You want to say something or raising hand just to say high five? In any case, you are confused. चलिए कोई बात नहीं. Thank you so much. Yeah, tomorrow we are having class. चलिए thank you. So with your permission, then I'm saying not in the group. In आपके chat box में अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो किसी ने somebody ने already पूरा post कर दिया. Thank you. So with your permission, I take a leave. आपके chat box में पूरा number लिख दिया भाई किसी ने. इसीलिए I'm saying कि chat box में आप chat लिख लीजिए. So with your permission, now I'm taking a leave. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy Sunday to the best. Stay safe, secure, and please give your best for the exam. Let's make our institute proud of ourselves. Thank you.